So exciting!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream tonight. We are Valiant Online developers, and we will be talking and interacting with our community tonight. My name is Frank Jaximus Ambrose, and with me we got Chad Bulak, which is our art and content lead. Then we have Aaron Victoria, who is our uh, design director, or excuse me, creative director, and C4, who is our QA, our lead QA. Everybody go ahead and say hi.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey guys, welcome.
And we will be interacting and showing you guys a couple different things. Specifically, we'll be talking about, we'll be showing you guys what some things look like behind the scenes. We'll be talking about how world design works. We'll be talking about uh, progress that we've made over the past couple months. We'll be talking about where we're going in the future. And we will also be creating a power set towards the end of the live stream. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm paying attention to the chat.
Oh man, what a crazy start of morning, right? We've been working hard today.
Yeah, we've been working hard. That's for
Don't lie.
sure. So this
Keeping
is
QA busy.
Keep him busy. It's gonna be a good night of dev streaming.
that's right. We are so excited to share what we've been working on with everybody. We have made a lot of progress. Still plenty of work to do, but we're excited to show everybody the wonders and things that we've been able to get done. I don't know if I don't know if I said I'm the design director for primarily systems, and I'll be able to answer any questions regarding power sets, economy. We can talk about any other type of social systems. We can talk about a lot of the larger features in Valiance. Chad, who I introduced, he will be able to primarily answer a lot of lore related and content related questions. So anything that comes up, we will be able to um, answer. I have a question. Will our accounts for Valiance Online, when the alpha begins, be linked to our VO form account? Yes. We are working on the back end for not only that, being able to link your game account to your Valiance form account, but more links than that. Aaron, do you want to talk about that at all?
We're in a process right now. I know it's been a long process, and I know people have been kind of frustrated with it because it's been going on for so long. But there's so much data, so much security going on with our new website and game site server bridge. And I mean, we still got quite a bit of work to do. The majority of it is done, but the interactive level that we're pushing with this is pretty high. So we'll be able to interact with not just accounts, but we'll be able to interact in between accounts with the website server. We're also integrating the Steam API into it, so it'll be able to link to your Steam account and allow you to do different things. One of the big things that we're going to be doing with Steam, we're still working out the details, but we're setting up everything to utilize Steam Workshop so that players will be able to commit different things like skins for their weapons, different armors, and we'll have a approval process, but people will be able to submit items to the Steam Workshop, and all that'll be integrated into the website and the game uh, client as well. So there's a lot of deep mechanics going on in the background, but we're nearly to a point where it's appropriately usable, and we'll be discussing that a little bit more further in development. Most likely by the end of next week we'll have more details on where we are with that, but there's a lot of gears turning.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things that we're going to be doing with taking advantage of a lot of the tools that are out there that not a lot of, if any, MMOs have ever tried to take advantage of. It's just the creativity of the community, and being able to take things that you guys produce, and as long as the community is in love with them, you make them work all the way up to the point that they actually become part of the game. That's one of the features that I personally am really excited for, seeing how community would interact with being able to take uh, different weapon designs or different costume pieces, or mission content, story arcs, those types of things, and work their way through the community and get enough people to support it and really like it. Maybe you guys would make changes to it, edit it, make it better, and we all come around and it'll eventually become part of the game.
Ooh-wee, I got my typing shoes on today. What are you over there doing, Jax? You just doing
I'm
you in the
reading
scene?
chat. I'm reading chat, and we flying around the city.
Man, I gotta say, we hit that city hard this week, man.
Oh
We,
yeah.
we almost got it all the way back built up.
It's the question about the naming convention and how that'll be linked to your hero. There's a couple systems that are in play that we don't know the answer to how those things are going to work until we check how the backbones all work for security purposes. I can't answer that question yet, um, but I will definitely be letting everybody know, because that's how the primary names, the surnames, and your account names all interact. Those are things that we still have to work out.
I'm running through the character creator now, checking, making sure everything's working as expected. There's still a few. I think. Let me see. Range damage, range support. I think it looks like John has the. There we go. Yeah. Wait, no, I'm not a coordinator. I'm not a manipulator either.
Yeah, we are
Okay.
working very
Okay.
hard
Okay.
space mode.
Yeah. Yeah. So we yeah. John has to. I think John has the primary and secondary power set selection on the character generator flipped because I can't make a projector. It's limiting backwards. So um, yeah, I can make a coordinator though. I can make a coordinator, a manipulator, and yeah. I was trying to. Uh, yeah, I was trying to make a. Okay, so we just got a little kink. We can work on it during the stream though. We'll work it out.
Is
But
there going to be newspaper or mission similar to COX? How, how mainly is content and like dungeon stuff going to go down? So we're going to have plenty of main stories. We're focusing on really allowing players to roam and choose, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities for players to be able to show uh, which way, which side of the coin they lean. Are they more leaning towards a hero-esque or a villain, or are they somewhere in between, or are they going extremes in both directions? So we're going to have a lot of main storyline quests and side quests and stories and missions and story arcs that are going to allow you to do those things. But there will be a lot of repeatable content, um, for the sake of, sometimes that's what people are looking for. Sometimes there are plenty of times where you just want to edge out and grind out some missions, and just doesn't really matter why you're there. You're just enjoying doing combat with your team. You guys up the difficulty to see how high you can go. Those types of things are definitely something that I personally love. I'm a huge fan of farming in the grind, not pointless grinding, but I enjoy um, just mindlessly blowing through thousands of mobs. It's definitely, and then also I love balancing my character to the point that, to see how fast I can do those things and how well I can do those things. So those are definitely some of the things that I love. But yeah, there will be plenty of content. We already have far more content, um, storylines and main story arcs and those types of things planned out, build the city out. Because as you can see, it's pretty large. This area that we're looking at right now is more than a couple square miles. It's very large, and this is about 1/4 the size of this entire what you could call zone of skyline, and that is roughly probably a 16th of the overall planned map, just so we can get an idea of that scale. So just as far as scope of the world, it is massive, and even the area that we have in the game right now is massive compared to typical. I mean, we're flying around a lot, and you're like, wow, okay, so I get an idea of the scale, but it's not until we zoom all the way down here, and then you look at a person compared to everything else, and you really realize how big this is that we're all looking at right now.
Hold on. Yeah, I told you that. Like, go over to. I know they're gonna probably see a couple potholes in the ground, but go over to the trial area, the overgrowth area, just so they can kind of get a perspective, and then drag one of our characters in there. Because that's one of the ones when you did it, I was like, man, do you see how incredibly massive that is? That area is. And you're like, yeah, I know how big it is. I was like, no, I actually flew in there and it's about the size of like an entire zone within just those walls.
Yeah, so this is you could picture it and call it like a trial area. This is going to be one of the events that happen in the world. It's going to feel like it just happened. It's going to feel like it's part of something that is ongoing. Whereas this is going to be a park that is taken over by a mob group that just everything goes wild, and there's tons and tons of mobs, and it's going to be a very dangerous area to go into. And you're looking at this and you're like, oh, okay, that's a just a park, right? But to actually get the idea and feel of how big just this park area is, it's massive.
Is something like considerable to Brickstown in the old COH?
I think Brickstown. This area right here is about just inside this park area is about a third the size of like Atlas Park.
Yeah, that's literally
Just
pretty
this
much.
park is
Yep,
about a
just that
third the
area.
size of what Atlas Park was.
Yeah,
If you
pretty
scale
big.
things.
Yeah, and run like because I ran straight from the opening of the entrance straight to the exit or straight to that back wall. And it took almost, I think, like 2 minutes, 30 seconds, something like that, just running straight with my speed in hand. So yeah, it's up there. It's pretty big. And then you got to imagine with mobs there, with the overgrowths, the trees, the Rowan Oak mobs. It's gonna be pretty cool traversing that area right there.
Ooh, there's a question that I love right there. I like fighting large mobs. Any idea of aggro limit? As high as I possibly can get it. I know the answer to that question.
I knew
Because
you were gonna say that.
if you
Oh yeah,
have the
yeah.
skill and
Thank you.
ability
Thank
to
you.
tank and pull an entire map worth of mobs and not die, oh,
That's
more
the
power to
question.
you.
I gotta be able to tank it. I gotta be able to tank it. Come on.
Oh yeah,
I gotta be able to tank it.
I'm a huge fan of, and I think that a large part of what makes our game fun combat wise is just the scale, because you're a superhero or a supervillain. You can go. You're supposed to be more powerful than the average person by several degrees. So the way that you get that combat feel, that the way that you get that where you feel like you're doing something heroic, is by taking on insurmountable odds. Because the vast number of enemies wouldn't be able to 1v1 you. They wouldn't be able to gang up on you because you're meant to succeed. So it really comes down to the danger comes from numbers of enemies that you're going to be fighting. So I'm reading the chat now. Yeah, that everybody was. I saw a couple people talking about the music that was
Oh yeah,
during the launch. That's while we were waiting. That's the music from Iron Valley, one of the zones that we're going to be doing.
love Iron Valley. Iron Valley is the cyberpunkish environment from the Valiant's universe. It's a zone where it was kind of built around the idea of mass technology, and the economy suffered from just the expensive nature of the city maintaining it. People investing in augmentations just overwhelmed the city and led to a crime-ridden environment that became so dangerous that they just walled it off to protect the people of the outer cities. I think it's going to be a great change of scenario from most of the high technology environments that you'll see early on.
Yeah, everybody. Would you be able to exploration badges that would unlock different costume sets? Yes.
Yep.
We we
Yes.
we recognize that there are many different types of players that go from people that focus on combat, from people that focus on exploration, from people that focus on achievements, and people that just focus on social aspects of the games. So I've tailored a lot of systems to ensuring that people are not excluded. There will be some people that can take more advantage of some systems than others, but for example, if you want to be a pure entertainer and only make drinks and be a chef and create food, or play an instrument, and you spend your entire life sitting in a social area, that is more than appropriate for exactly what you'll be able to do in Valiant Online. Exploring and coming up with different areas that will be very challenging to get into, and not necessarily challenging because of a combat reason. That is all going to be part of exploration badges and achievements. Yes, combat players will be able to craft for themselves. Crafting, the approach to crafting is going to be the approach to crafting is going to be a little bit different than a lot of games have focus, because there's a lot of times where in many games you're put on a path, and the feeling of, this is what you're working towards, this is your goal, this is, the end all, the be all, that once you reach a master tier or whatever in that profession, that's it. You've done it, you've achieved it, you devoted yourself to it, so you feel like there's a sense of a commitment there. Well, we're more focusing on endless systems. So many of our systems, combat levels, profession levels, those things are not going to have a limit. You'll always be able to get better at them. There'll be diminishing returns on them, but you'll still be incredibly rewarded for the amount of time invested in the systems. Yes, there is going to be areas for costume contests, and there will be a lot of areas that are purely devoted to role playing. Role playing is something that, as the systems director, I've spent a lot of time thinking on and making sure that as we do things, as we make different design decisions, that they're not some way inhibiting somebody from being able to role play something. If you feel that you are uh, being limited in some way, shape, or form from being able to do some role-playing action, or being able to take your character and tailor it to something that you want to be able to role-play, then that's going to be a bad reflection on our systems.
I pushed the SVN update in. Everybody grab it when you can. Updated all the perps to use the new perp model appearance modules.
I really love to hear that. Some games just seem to go, oh, RPers can have this bar here. No, 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 no. A lot of time is being
And
put into making sure that people that don't want to fight or that only fight whenever their friends are online and that they only enjoy doing those things because it's a social aspect, it is definitely something that's going to be deeply recognized in our design because I had a lot of friends that were. I had a lot of friends that played games that they didn't care for PvP, they didn't care for PvE, they didn't care for exploration. But every time there was a group of people on, they absolutely loved themselves because they were socializers and they did things to socialize. They might have farmed and grind out stuff just so that they would have some reason to interact with their friends and help them with enhancements or whatever that they found while they farmed. They may have not enjoyed farming for the sake of farming, but they did it for a social reason. Yeah. So, Chad, would you be able to? I don't know if there's anyone here that hasn't been following the project for a while, um, but would you be able to give a brief overview of kind of Valiance Online, the world in general, from a content perspective?
Absolutely. First off, thank you so much for allowing me to make a brief comment about the entire universe. That's kind of it's kind of a double standard there. So
not the universe. Don't go where you could go.
Since the beginning of time. All right.
Stay within the scope.
Hey, everybody out there. I'm Chad Dulac. I'm the content designer and the art director for the game Valiance Online, and I've been spending a lot of time. One of the biggest challenges we had in the early phases was coming up with a continuous universe or timeline that fit into how the world was going to be perceived, and then taking existing content we had, so we didn't lose any of the creative work over the years, and put that into a continuity. So something you need to keep in mind is there's about 83 years worth of lore, game-wise, about the history of when this all starts up to the point in which the game takes place. More specifically, the game takes place in 2103. Not sure if anybody actually knows that, but the period of time that we're introducing the players to from the inception of the tutorial, which you guys will eventually get to, takes place in 2089, which has the event called the Uprising. Now, the culture that most people think of is just a human culture, but by this point in time, the universe has evolved so much. This is where we have aliens that have come to Earth because of intergalactic wars. There's a whole system of government in place that doesn't align with what we see today, and the culture of actually having superheroes and supervillains is more commonplace than most people think. So what I want to explain mostly to everybody is when you look at San Silo, the city that we're designing here, it is actually founded upon what would be formerly San Diego. In the Uprising, there's a tragic event that takes place between Valor, the superhero team, and Leviathan, our supervillain team. And there's a detonation that occurs, which essentially levels the city. And because this is such a tumultuous time, they decide that, you know what, we're not going to try and reclaim the city, we're going to rebuild it. And it becomes the city of San Silo, where players are going to be actively engaged within the game itself. So when you're looking around, what is here is now the new city. All the stuff was put up afterwards. We tried to make sure that it wasn't as blocky as I'm a superhero. I walk around and I'm with superhero people. There is a seamless transition that we're working towards to make sure that crafting and professions work together with each other. There are different non-player companies that you're going to see. We've got cyber assemblies. We have Predator weapons that's there, Tron bioengineering, and each one of these plays a role, not just with the players being able to walk up to them in an RPG fashion, interact with these and accept missions and to be able to gain experience, but also if you're a profession-based character, to be able to look at these as mentors and to be able to create gear, augmentations, and other elements that can be coupled with different players, different player styles, and to be really customizing the way that your hero plays based on the class that they're going to have. To that extent, we even tie in these NPC groups, these profession-based companies with the gangs, the different mobs and areas that we see. It's not going to be all city. You're not going to just run around and see the same skyscrapers everywhere you go. We're designing specifically to have different areas of town that are going to change. Every couple of levels you're going up, there's going to be a change of scenery. You're going to be seeing new types of mobs that you have. While they may be the same gangs, they may be the same faction based off of that, you're going to start seeing that each one has a different power set. Sometimes we'll just change the color, but hopefully we can be a little bit more original than that later on. So what you guys are looking at in the game here is the point. This is the most heavily developed area of Skyline City. Is the Skyline Center is the main hub of where players are going to be starting this out. It is most technologically advanced, and it's kind of the ode, the homage, the shining beacon of what the city has become, and is also the focal point near where the actual detonation that happens in the uprising takes place. So to give you a feel of the scale of how large we're looking to design the city and the different areas that we have, this is laid over on top of one of our pieces of concept art to give you a little bit more span as to how many different areas of town that we're going to have. So what you've been looking at with the city there, if you can see in Skyline where the arrows are accented, that is just the start of what we've got planned for this. And these are all the different areas. You can even see that the landscape based off of the drawing there is from taking San Diego, redesigning the landscape over where the detonation and tsunami would have happened afterwards, and then being able to put those areas of town over it. We've incorporated topographical considerations, incorporated waterways, incorporated where there's going to be shipping, different cultures of town as far as economics, to include the slums. We've got Iron Valley that's all cordoned off. So there is just a ton of things that we have itching to get more into and be able to develop the content as we get set. And we also have a ton of assets ready to go that's going to help expand this out as we get into those areas of town.
Yep, and then we zoom all the way back down here to a player.
So those of you that decide not to have a travel power, have fun walking.
Yes, travel powers are definitely one of the reasons why we're able to do this type of thing.
And the beautiful thing is, as of this moment, I'm gonna commit to that. As of this moment, everything is being developed to work with the mega server type structure, and transition between the zones are all going to be seamless. They'll just be progressive changes as you reach the borders of different areas, and then you'll notice a progressive change, and everything will be loaded and handled in real time, instead of, you click on the door or a opening of a wall and you're transported into an entrance or from an entrance into a zone. Because we want people to be able to fly. If you want to fly from Skyline to Harbor View, you rocket into the sky and just jet over to Harbor View. We don't want to disconnect you from the world without reason. Like, for example, if we have to force you into an instance as is part of the game experience, or something is taking place that requires the story to disconnect you from other players so that you can experience the story appropriately, that's kind of a reason why we have to separate you from the rest of the game world. But our goal is to never do that if we don't, specifically have to do that.
So here's a question to you, AB. Question:
Uh-oh.
Does a mega server imply there will be several servers that will overlap? If so, will players know what server they are on, and what will they have the ability to swap to that? Okay, swap to others without much difficulty. So they're talking about like using, like, where they have, it's like you're all
Shards?
Shards, yeah. Talking about
No, it'll be a shardless server, but we'll be using channels. Depending on how massive things become, we'll have channels that players can switch between, and in certain cases, if one channel is flooded and we have no choice, then that channel will be locked. So being having a server, you're still limited to the capabilities of a server structure, and we'll work to make sure that we have enough support for different channels to allow people to be able to find a channel in which they're on. But those things will be progressively opening. So if for example you're on channel 1, there's no reason for channel 1 to be widely opened and or expanded to the point where channel 2 opens. Then you'll be on channel 1. You'll all be in the same environment.
AV, how far can we apply our teleport vertically?
That's actually that's an interesting question, because I experimented with some technology where once you reached a certain elevation, you would start to leave the atmosphere, and as you got to a certain level, your controls began to be a little less sensitive until you reach a point where you were literally in outer space, and it was pretty cool that feeling, that to be able to fly that high, but it could never be used in the way that I wanted to see it used. It just wouldn't, because after the player reached a certain level, he would have to be restricted to movement. And even though we would show, the earth spinning and the appearance of him moving, the illusion that he was moving further than he was made it more problematic when he came back down and he's practically in the same location he was in. So I kind of stopped playing around with the elevation idea, because I was kind of like, I can only have the player go so high realistically and be able to continue at a reasonable pace. So I still haven't returned to that. I mean, right now, I think you can fly up to about 200 feet before you hit the ceiling, the flight ceiling. But I want to push the player much higher than that, maybe 400 to 500 feet high. Enough that the ground, the distance fog between the player and the ground is enough that they can only see the tops of buildings, like high skyscrapers.
Yeah. And thank you, Matt, for overview of the. Everybody enjoyed it.
The whole universe.
Well,
No, don't. Yeah, don't.
The whole
Yeah.
universe.
No, don't do it. I know you
we don't got that much time. This stream's not gonna last that long, anyways. Yeah, we have so much lore, so much content.
If I can jump in with another comment here too. One of the great things that content has in mind for this is to be able to continue sharing the lore as smaller nuggets with characters within the game, in the RPG dialogue that's going to be there. And this is really going to prompt the community to be able to go to the database. And this is a steadily growing thing as we go through on the website and we start introducing new characters from the past of the game, creating histories for all these players, where it came about. When I say there's 83 years of stuff out there, it's going to become eventually open to the entire community to understand that this isn't just a game that takes place today and what you do tomorrow as you level up your character. It's steeped in a series of conflicts that have happened over the years, and all this stuff built into making the world events of what it is. And those are going to be popping out like a wiki, later, where you're going to be able to assess and see when you hear the name Jaximus and you want to know what that means, you're going to be able to click on that and find out that the origins of where he came from, his sad story about what happened with this instance, and the different points at where he touches down in the timeline to become part of Jack's core in the present day game. There's a lot more story involved, so it really helps the people that want that RPG experience to enrich themselves with it. But at the same time, it's not being forced on everybody. If the playstyle is you want to get with a team of friends, you want to go in, you got to find the biggest aggro mob possible with it, and you just want to power grind and get some serious loot. So there's something for everybody that's there, but our focus is also to make sure that it's a rich environment that stand on its own instead of just being a superficial, spandex tights running around and flying, which if that's what you want, that's cool too.
And we have a pretty robust way of organizing our information, because there's a lot of times where just even briefly getting into the lore of a game can be very overwhelming, and that's not something that we want to force onto everyone, because like Chad said, there's definitely a lot of people that care less for the lore, and then there's some people that they only play the game for the lore. So we definitely want to grab both of those. Some games have definitely said, oh, well, we're going to focus on one group towards the other, and it's not that we're trying to capture every group of people out there. We're not trying to be very broad and not being able to be jack of all trades, master of none, but it's just that this type of game allows us to be able to tackle both of those very easily, very well. Yes, lots of loot. Somebody's stuck in the chat. Yes, there will be plenty of instance-based missions. Instance-type monsters, mobs, task forces, equivalents, type things have the tech for them already in. Still reading all the chat. Love everybody and asking all the questions. All of the questions.
Epic monsters and krakens. I got a kraken. I got a kraken for you. I got one. I have a nice one now, and I'm finding a way to do it. I'm finding a way. You're not just gonna zerg the feet of the kraken. You're gonna get whipped around and all kind of weird stuff. I'm gonna make it happen. None of this rush to the feet of a super mob and hack away at its ankles. You're gonna be climbing mobs and flying on them. You got to get that proper epic experience. It'll take some time, but we'll get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Frank sent me a message, said I need to talk about how we're integrating all the game client and website client to work together in ways to create our official on-site content database, which is sort of like a wiki. But basically, the way we're engineering the tech, it pulls every bit of data from the game periodically. If for example, Frank decides to change how much damage fire melee does, it'll, once he makes that change, once we process and update the server immediately sends information to our third party middle server, and then it disperses it to whatever, whether it be Steam API or our website server, in order to update that data immediately. So as soon as the server is updated, once the server broadcasts its updates, the live server will be updated, and so will the website server. And it'll create, we have a couple of designs and some template work to do, but all the data that the page will contain will be your direct link to everything in the live actual game, as often and as frequently as the server is rebooted or updated. It'll also pull data from player databases. So when you create a character, you'll have every bit of data you added to your character will appear inside the same database that you're seeing our signature characters in. And at the moment, our signature characters are hand made right now inside the tech. But once everything is properly networked together, all that data will be live streamed straight over. So when we create our signature characters in game, our moderator accounts, all that data will be sent over, and so will every player character that they create. We're trying to decide how we want to handle censorship with it. We don't want to, just allow anything to fly into the database. But as of right now, we're just gonna go with it, see how it all plays out, and we're working on some tech that will also allow players to take snapshots and save internal images that can be sent to our server to update your character profiles. It'll basically be your way, and of course, as you'd expect, we're going to have our profile data handled in a certain way that if the player doesn't want to share that data with other players, they'll be able to prevent the data from being shared, their characters and data won't be shared. But we're going to be making tools that also allow them to share, poses, screenshots, and such from in-game and character generator screenshots, where they can pose their character for their profile and such. So yeah, a lot of integration, a lot of flexibility, a lot of features are coming to the character generator experience and the in-game character experience.
And a lot of that is pretty much a requirement for moving forward as an MMO type industry, because we recognize that something that is often forgotten is almost 90% of the content that's online is produced by less than 10% player base. And that's just because that's the percentage of the player base that has the time, that invests, and be able to do things that most players can't do or don't have the time to do, because there are limits. We know this is a game. You're taking time out of your real world to play a game. And some players have more free time than others. Some put a higher priority on it than others. So allowing those people that have gathered the knowledge and gathered the experience and the skill, that have conquered different things in the game, and making it as easy as possible for them to transport that information to the rest of the community it's just very important. And it's not something that's very commonly talked about.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things that a lot of developers don't recognize, is that one of the biggest things about MMOs, at least from my perspective, is that you want to keep people together, and you want to keep people in a position where they can always connect with other people. Like maybe someone logged into our character database. They pull up the database. They're just looking. They're looking. They have a group. They need a tanker. They haven't been able to find a tanker in game that's consistent. Maybe the people who they meet in game are, casual players in and out, and they're looking for a dedicated tanker. They played a couple matches with a guy or a girl, remember her name, and hopped out and was like, I'm gonna go and check and see if I can get in touch with, the tanker that we played with tonight. He or she, they just seem very dedicated, like they're really interested. And you don't have to hope that, I'll bump into them in game a little bit. If they have their profile where you can see their characters, you'll be able to look up that character. And if they furthermore have their profile set up where you can track their character back to their on-site account, then you can send them a message and say, hey, I enjoyed the game with you tonight. We appreciate you tanking with us. We have been looking for a tanker to be dedicated to our alliance group, and we're wondering if you want to join our alliance. We think you'd make a great tank for our team. And boom, like there's no, because I've had that happen a lot in City of Heroes, where I had a great few rounds with someone, and before I can add them to my friends list to be able to communicate with them further, I was like, where'd he go? And he'd be like, oh, look, he had to bounce off. He hopped offline and never seen that person again. So I was always like, man, that would have been cool if I'd have been able to find some way to contact him. I guess I just gotta hope I bump into him again, because I didn't even get the guy's full character name or global. So I was like, there's nothing, he's gone. I never played a game with him again. So I always wanted to keep people connected and give people an avenue to maintain connections with people that they may have bumped into, even if they just kind of scoured the database. Like, I know his name started with a T, and they'll search through the T's and scrub through and hopefully find a name that's find a person's name based on that.
And
C4
two
and
side,
blew everything and disappeared.
two side things. Spacebug, I literally just added your badge idea to my list because that is hilarious. That has spent 10 hours car surfing. That is great. That is great. That's an achievement. It wouldn't be a badge. It would be an achievement. That's great.
Man, so many
There
great
was another.
questions.
Yeah,
So
there was
many
another
great questions.
question.
That's why I was really excited to do this. I love answering questions, and we're usually so busy working on the game because we're all working day jobs, and then once we're done with day jobs or contract work, like we dive into the game and do as much as we can, and then we're either with our families or we're relaxing after that. But we can't be as active as we want right now because this isn't like our primary jobs. So it's great to be able to answer questions. Because there's just not enough time some days to be able to hop on the forum because I see so many forum posts and I read them all. Every single post that comes to the forum, I read it. And sometimes I want to respond, but I'm programming or I'm setting up character art or environment art or spawners. There's always something to do. And it's really great when we could do this. And like, I was just talking to Aegis the other day and I was like, we need to do this once or twice a week if we can, and just have this time to just talk about everything, every question we can answer, and just answer it and show off gameplay, show off development. It's really cool. Like I saw Space saying that he wanted to see the character creator. So yeah, just update. I was about to say update, and it looks like John missed some code. Some code isn't finished.
Yeah, we're working on it actually as we speak.
But the character
creator.
you can't show the character generator right now. It's actually working. There's some hang up, and it will probably take me too long to read through his code to figure it out. So it'll be something we'll have to save for the next live stream to fully jump in. But you can still, since you still got your live server running, we can just run the live server and do some dev work tonight.
So, follow-up question: assuming alliance and clan, will there be support for multiple ones? What did you mean by support for multiple ones? Like multiple ones that you can be part of? As far as your group being able to be part of an alliance, you could call it. Yes, you can be part of multiple alliances. Definitely. Yes, you'll be able to set some bushes on fire.
Light 'em up.
Here.
Oh man,
So
well,
let's.
let me.
While I'm going to transfer the scene, and we will get Chad to talk about some of the mobs that we're going to be encountering within the next couple months, and he will introduce us to some of them.
All right, so back to the content side, it's been a bit of back and forth as far as the developers because we actually created a lot of mobs or gangs, as you want to call them, for the game, but had to kind of throttle back a little bit based on where the area of town. So it's been a little bit of a juggling act to get them straightened up. But the first that you guys are going to run into once the game gets into its full playable alpha run of this is what we're calling the perpetrators. The perpetrators is a small nugget of lore. Eventually became Los Rojos, which is a different game, and then we scrapped the name the perpetrators only to come back and find we needed a basic starting group, and so we ended up bringing the perpetrators back. So what these are is the perps are a former group of military special forces. So this isn't the just United States. So we're not just thinking of Navy SEALs or Delta Force or anything like this. It's more, you've got the Spetsnaz from Russia, you've got Israeli special forces. I mean, a whole global continuum that was involved in this global conflict called the Intergalactic War, which takes place 30 years actually before the game happens. And these guys, these soldiers of fortune, end up falling out of sorts. Medals are awarded, and then these guys kind of fall off the grid. They get their veteran paychecks, but it's not really the life that they're used to. Being a former service member myself, I take veteran affairs very seriously. I take PTSD and trauma and retired veteran issues, homelessness, all that stuff is very important in real world to me, and I'm transplanting that into the fact that there's a group that is kind of that audience for it, but instead of having the help and services of what they wanted to do with their lives, they decide to take that into a life of crime instead, because it's war profiteering based off of unethical people, and these people become the perpetrators. So they start in cage fights, they start in these underground cybernetic super battles where guys with laser eyes are cutting each other and super arms and bashing each other apart, and one guy gets together and organizes them, and they become the next elite form of cybernetically enhanced exoskeletal super soldiers that start doing high profile crimes. So these are the people that, of course, in Skyline Center, that's the heart of the city, that's where all the money is, aside from some down in Edison Way. And these guys are the first bad guys that when superheroes roll through, there's a high profile bank that's going to be robbed, and there's a group of organized people running around with these crazy exterior armaments, and these are the heavy punchers, but superheroes can get in there and stop these. So that's the first group that we have. The perpetrators are meant to be more of a thug basis, but the storyline behind him isn't as simple as a guy with a bat or some disgruntled purse napper. There will be some purse napping, but as far as groups go, that's not one of their primary motivations. Moving on, we've got another group that is Los Rojos. And again, I'd mentioned before that we have these companies, that what I'm calling the diamond companies are for primary cybernetics. There's one for nanotechnologies, which is psionics. There's Tron Bioengineering, which is chemical augmentation, juicers, people that really get themselves with these super serums and stuff to augment their characters. And then there is the Predator Weapons, which is more of the exoskeletal and rail guns and all the heavy armament. So each one of these companies has kind of a following of gangs that trickles down to them. So Cyber Assemblies, of course, works and is the primary gear provider to the perpetrators. The next group that we've got for that is Tron Bioengineering, who is the chemicals and the juicing, and there's the group called Los Rojos, and their whole system is, if you want to use a corollary to Bane and how his system, and this is the old Batman where he's got the tube pumped into his brain and they get all ridiculously buffed out, that's their style of gang for them. So they focus more on those type of abilities, chemical abilities that are generated that way. We have the 8th Mob. 8th Mob was formerly called the 8th Street Kings, and we made them the 8th Mob. They're actually the oldest gang since the 1990s. They were rolling around, and they survived all throughout time and became integrated as an organized crime faction, and are mostly the guys who are just weapons. So these are the guys like a typical mobster. He goes into the trunk of his car, he pulls out a Tommy gun, except of course in 2103 that Tommy gun is going to be a little bit more extensive. Chances are he'll just be able to turn the whole back of his car into some sort of weapon and be able to shoot at heroes. So that's what we've got for the 8th Mob. And then the last one that we had generated was based off of the nanotechnologies as a purely cybernetic psionic-based group of people, so they don't even have weapons. They're this faction of higher-born kids. The group is called the Starborn, and they're all about mental power. So that's where your telekinesis, that's where your telepathy, your psionic slams, all of these ripple waves, area of effect things, that's where that group is going to be more challenging. And as we've gone through this, working with the programming team, it's important to us to marry up the right group, the type of damage they're going to do, and being able to cater the resistances of what players are going to be able to accomplish as they grow. So we're not going to have this psionic group when players can't fend off psionic attacks. You can't have a tank that goes in there and is able to have a high resistance to things like this. That's not fair. So we're sculpturing the way that all these characters are going to be introduced, one, to specific areas of town, as you guys saw from the giant map, And then two, being able to incorporate them into something culturally. So if you've got this really wealthy group of people, they're not going to be slumming it down in the industrial district. We're going to have a gang that's going to be tailored more to that. And this is just the top four that we've got. We've talked about rats in the sewers. Who doesn't love rats in the sewers, right? You got to go and be able to throw something at a rat, be able to get some experience for that. So we have a sewer-based group that's down there complete with a mini boss. So that's going to be one of the very first instances, or dungeons if you want to call it, that is going to be designed and put into that. Similarly, we also have a park area. So we had called, and Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, it's something Oaks. We created a whole name for that. Roanoke. So the Roanoke area is going to be seen in partial areas within the Skyline starting area. So in a very short amount of time between 10th and 15th level, players are going to have access to a very heavily populated, enemy-rich part of town that's been taken over by fauna. So you've got these attacking plant life and trees that are there, and there's a specific reason why they're there and why they're popping up, and then having another instance later on as players level and move through Skyline that's going to introduce more of the culture of who these are. And that's, again, similarly introducing stun type attacks, being able to have, instead of just, hack and slash, there's going to be more integration for strategy behind crowd control, who the players are going to want to go after first, recognizing what those enemies are and their strengths and weaknesses. And it really gives players the ability to tailor their team and their power sets towards what they're going to be facing, but it's also going to have more growth and expansion focused on making it enriching for that player. So, I've played predominantly healers in my time when I've been doing MMOs, and I got to have something that, if I'm going to have crowd control, there needs to be an instance for that power set. Otherwise, the power set, it doesn't have any basis for it. So that's kind of where we're at content-wise. Everything just seems to pop up based on needs. So if they say we're making a sewer, well, content steps up and we're going to have rats. All good things. Places to take your pets.
Places to go with pets. He had a question. Go. What groups will the villains be facing? I love my villains. Chat.
Well, as far as, and this is a, I don't want to misspeak on this, Frank. So if I'm throwing stuff out there that doesn't belong yet, let me know. The hard part about being able to make a seamless experience on a hero versus a neutral or a dark character like a Batman type character that's the anti-hero or the vigilante, and then having a straight up villain, is all based on working on an alignment system. And then, of course, how does that play in with the choices that are available to the character? So we're trying to be as diligent about having the same assets and resources. For instance, if we have a mission that you decide to get into the game, and based on how you play, there's going to be a recommendation at a very early level that gives you a little bit of a nudge and says, we feel based on the decisions you made with these few quests or missions that you did, that you'd be suited to be a superhero, or you're doing really well, but you kind of slide a little bit between the lines. Maybe you should go visit Jack's Corps and handle some of the harder tasks that they've got. And then if you're more villainous, they say, we don't really like what this is, you can choose one of these hero groups, but we don't think you're suited for it. And then there's a recruitment for villains from Leviathan on the outside. And being able to take, okay, you make a decision that you want to be a good guy. Well, when you walk down the street, there's a side quest, and there's this poor old lady, and she's got a cat that's on top of the legacy statue right in the center of town, and gosh darn it, be a hero and get my cat down for me. Well, there's also going to be a mission that we would tailor for the villain side of that says, hey, there's a cat that's over in town here, and this owner is willing to pay through the nose to get it. Go steal the cat. And so using the exact same mission and the style of assets that we have for that, you can do a crossover of different quests that use the exact same instance or situation for that, while still being able to make two separate quest lines that's going to be brand new content regardless of which way you go. part of the alignment system we're also trying to balance out is making sure that when you as a player are making a decision, your decisions and how you finish those quests are going to work into your alignment. And there's a number or an algorithm that starts going one way or the other. So say you're a good guy and you start you start stealing all the rewards instead of giving the purse back. You keep the purse, you pocket it, and you throw the rest away. And well, that's going to kind of give you a negative on one particular score, and it's going to alter what your number is within the spectrum of what we consider good, neutral, and or villainous. And so if you get too far out of the zone of being a hero, then that's going to shift up, and those areas of those quests, those mission sets aren't going to be available to you anymore until you start doing missions that bring you back up into the realm of being the hero, and vice versa. That also allows players who want to go from being a hero to being a villain. It gives them that exact opportunity to be able to play within that and just go back and forth throughout the entire spectrum of alignment at their choice. That's part of the adventure that we want to give to people.
And to talk about that same thing, but from the systems point of view, we're going to have primarily 3 systems. Now, the systems will vary in how visible they are and how many or how much of the system will be in the background. Because there's a lot of times where systems don't need to be in front of your face for you to realize that things are happening. For example, the way that the world treats you and interacts with you is based on recognition of the actions that you get. You don't need a bar that goes from left to the right on the alignment to show you that you're not doing good things when people are running away from you when you're on the street. So definitely there's a lot of ways that you can show those types of things, and these are things that'll require a lot of play testing and a lot of testing with the player base to see how they interact with them. But so the 3 systems are roundabout. Your alignment, which will be your variation between hero, villain, and anywhere in between. Your honor, because many times when you think of some heroes or some villains, you have a view of how honorable they are. There are plenty of villains that are honorable villains and that they can work with other villains, but also there's a lot of villains that are honorless, and a lot of even villains wouldn't work with them. So it gives you the option. If you're a completely honorless villain, that means that even villains will treat you as you can literally be 100% considered an enemy to everybody. So those 2 kind of overlap to provide with all the spectrums that range from being a hero to a villain, but also what type of hero, what type of villain are you? You know, your choices as how do you deal with killing or rescuing somebody not only affects whether you're considered a good guy, but you could also still be considered a villain, but you're just a poor or a bad villain. And then the third one, which would be how you interact with different corporations, would be reputation with them. And a lot of corporations or groups would not deal with some villains, or some vice versa would not deal with some heroes. So if you're a superhero, obviously you're not going to walk into a villain's den and ask for a mission. They'll treat you just like you're a superhero, and they wouldn't deal with you.
And similarly along those lines too, you have, I'd mentioned the different gangs that we have. So we'll just take cyber assemblies and the perpetrators as an example. If you eventually, as a villain, do work or side missions with perpetrators, that builds reputation with the gang. It also builds reputation with cyber assemblies because they're one of the companies that factors that. And there's positive results and exclusive elements that are only available once you reach a specific reputation or faction score with these groups. So it's very well thought out to be able to have that every choice that you're making, how you handle going into a group, how you handle fighting them, it works very, very well to kind of crunch all those numbers and then have a resultant type of interaction for that player within the world based on your choices.
I'm seeing a lot of pretty positive feedback about taking the decisions you make and allowing it to really affect you, because like I made a mention of earlier, and I'll repeat it again, we're so focused on allowing you to play the game the way that you want to play the game. I'm personally, we're not interested in limiting you or telling you what your story is, because we want you to play the game. We want you to make the decisions and have the world react to the way that you make those decisions. Artificial roads or bars on the roads don't really they're not a requirement from a game standard point of view when you're talking about lore and content. So one of the challenges that we have is that also means that we don't know anything about you. See, a lot of games they have the luxury of saying, okay, well, before this you've been in the military for 15 years, so there's a reason why you know how to snap somebody's neck. There's a reason why you have an M16 in your house. So there's all these things that the game tells you about your character before you've even got to know your character. There are things that you pick up about your character based on what he's wearing. We don't know that about your character. We don't know that about you. So it's a challenge, but when you look at it in the reverse spectrum, where you try to constantly work towards allowing players to tell us your story, rather than us telling you your story, we want you to tell us your story. And that's how these three systems are going to really work together, to be able to not only tell us, but everybody around you.
Basically, I'm sorry, this is QA Director C4. We're encouraging people to create their own stories.
Yes.
If that could bottom line for them.
Yes, exactly. And if anyone is listening to the music, they might have noticed that there might be some background music going on, and that's because I'm testing the character generator right now. So we'll be seeing that not too long here. One thing I'd love to see done better than here's defense and resistance is enemy base accuracy was 50%. Is that a 5%? Get what you have. Hold it. Yes, the soft cap on defense, that's something that I'm and how, especially, the problem wasn't the fact that the soft cap existed. The problem was that you could be a controller with 0 defensive powers and reach that soft cap, and basically how you were ungodly tanky. So yes, it's definitely something that I am deeply aware of as far as systems go. Yes, you will have a biotex. That was already actually in the beta, or the pre-alpha even. That was one of the first user interface things that we had, was that you'd be able to have your own bio and talk about your character, and other people be able to see that bio. And some people thought City Heroes limit on words was a little bit too low, so that's good. Altaholics, I hear you. I had, I think, around 63 level 50s when I was done. So I definitely understand how enjoyable replayability can be, or should be. Everybody's talking about to what extent and how they handled their role playing. Evie, what is the current character slot set at?
You might have slipped out for a bio.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he's writing his bio.
Yeah. I know he wanted to talk about pets. That guy has been very in love with pets recently. Said it's very difficult to hear me. I apologize.
All right, I'm back. I zoned out. I was cold, and I heard you guys talking. Saying
his name didn't bring him back, but saying the word pets brought him back.
Well, because I had to stop for a minute, and then I was like, oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing. I was like, oh, they're talking about me. But yeah, we didn't really say that when we first started. But this is really like a dev stream. Like, we're in the middle of doing a bunch of character creator and environment fixes and changes. We're trying to have a session go on tonight, but we'll probably do it in a few days in another live stream because we made some dramatic changes to how the character generator is handled on the server and client side. We did some client side rewrites, and there's still a few elements that need to be fixed up on the server and the client to fully finish the character creator. Because we keep bumping into issues like, oh, John, we didn't get this one fixed. This one is still there, and you'll be like, okay, I'll get on it later, and I'm like, all right, and then we just keep pushing it, and then we keep fixing things, and then something else breaks right alongside of it. But I think looking right now, it looks like we're just having one issue with the way the gender is handled on the server, and once that's fixed, the character generator will be back to normal, and it'll be right in time for us to get the new re-rigged female character model and have her ready for a Monday presentation. But yeah, I zoned out. I zoned out for a minute, man. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we're kind of developing at the same time as we're doing the live stream because we want to be able to show people what we're doing, and we kind of have plans to do like really show people how long it takes to do a lot of the stuff that you probably consider simple. But we have quite a few tools, but it still takes a while to truly develop these systems. And tonight we're trying to work on Legacy's power set because I thought his primary power set was in there, but it's not. And I guess what happened was we didn't have visual effects at the time. I could have swore I saw it in the spreadsheets, but I guess it was another manipulation power. But he's basically our first controller, and which is in Valiance Online is a manipulator, but he does range. Gravity manipulation, and now that we have the animations and visual effects, we're going to be building his power set.
We'll be doing that right after do a little bit of exploration in the champ select. Everybody's
I'm pushing up a character gen material update right now, so just load up the character gen, and once you start it, then you want to download it without pausing Unity or anything. Just run it straight through.
go Mr. Clean.
Wait, is it showing? Are you okay? Yes. But why are your eyebrows white?
I was going through clicking on things, so I probably made it white.
Oh, okay.
I was going through and just clicking on things.
Yeah.
So while we're here on the Origins page, we can talk a little bit real quick about Origins and how we're going to view them. Everybody's just yelling things. I love it.
I mean, he really does. I didn't know. I had to look at the screen again. I was like, oh yeah, that's the true Mr. Clean. Clean it all up.
Patrick Stewart. That's another one. So, just to talk about Origins and the way that we're going to handle it, somebody's going to look at this and be like, oh my word, you only have 3 Origin options. No, that's not the way that it's going to be. In fact, we're doing
you'll see those blades. Yeah, you'll see those blades. This is like a single blade panel, but I'm sure before the end, because usually to the left will be your primary selection blade, and then to your right will be your secondary selection blade. So I'm sure Frank will have some kind of scrolling secondary blade panel over there with more options for each one, or maybe you'll just have like a freeform type thing.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity to the chat, what is the craziest superhero or supervillain origin that you can think of? I know it takes a few seconds for that to come back, but the purpose of that question is because we want to show the challenges of really incorporating all of the possible origin types out there. There's so many ways that origins can fall under multiple of the categories, or a single type of categories. Possessed by alien. And what is it? Symbiote style Venom. Now we got battle chickens being talked about. But so the way that we're going to do it is that there's going to be 3 primary origins, and inside of those, everybody is still so on this Mr. Clean. They're coming up with a whole power set of Mr. Clean. He gets dunked into toxic bubbles and becomes Mr. Clean, Mastermind Bubble Pets.
We ought to do that. We actually can do that. We ought to do that.
We have effects for that.
We do. We literally do. We have bubbles. Let's do it. Let's do it. Just for the stream's sake, we'll make a
We'll do something. That's funny.
scrubbing bubble set. I'm serious. Let's literally do it. Let's literally make it right now on stream. Literally. You down? You down?
Hold on.
Frank?
Let's get through what we got on our plate.
No, I'm asking. You don't back down from it. If you're gonna go, you're gonna go. You know whether you're gonna go or not.
So, anyways.
Flying deer pigs.
The deer pig is coming.
Keep that.
I have the art. We got it. We're doing it. The legends of Valiance. They're gonna remember the deer pig. The greatest mistake. Somebody was like, I got a pig running around me. I was like, oh no, I didn't. I didn't swap those files.
All right, our team, when we're in meetings, is famous for finding all of the rabbit holes and fully exploring all of the rabbit holes. Just so everybody knows.
In the worst way, in the worst possible way. Just crazy stuff.
That is what we are well versed in that. In coming up with Agent Clean. Man.
Just like the scrubbing bubbles, man. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it live.
All right. So, anyways, talking about origins, so we can get past this page, see the rest of the character generator. But there's many times where we were coming up with. I mean, we had a massive list of origins that we were going to have in the game, and the problem is that when it comes with origins and how the world interacts with you. Earlier, I was talking about how difficult it is to make a game interact with you when we don't know anything about you. We don't know what your preferences are. We don't even know whether or not you're going to want to put armor on or if you're going to be walking around with a wand. Those types of things are a little bit more broad that we're looking for in terms of getting information from you. So we broke it down into a two-step origin selection. The first one is you're going to pick your primary origin, which would be natural, science, or magic. The secondary part of the origin is going to be extremely broad and long, and for months and years, according to our forums, we will be adding more and more and more origins. So if you have some type in the future, sometime in the future that you have an origin that you want to play as, pop it up on the forums and make a case for it, and people thumbs it up, and it'll get in the game, because I want to have thousands of origins in the game, because I don't want to limit you or any players what type of origins that they can be, because that's such a core essential part of the game. But we did have to break it down between natural, science, and magic, and sometimes these things overlap. So, for example, if you're a super, which think of some type of a mutant, that could be all three of these categories. You could have been naturally born as a super. You could have had a science experiment happen on you that made you a super. Or it could be something magical. So there's many times where the origins will overlap in between the three. So we're not going to say, oh, well, if you're natural, you're the only person that can be a ninja. No. You could be a magic ninja. Go for it. That's just part of one of the other examples of ways that we're trying to make sure that we don't limit any creativity. I don't think Origin is definitely going to be something that I do a blog post on, because Origin is a very in-depth and it means a lot to some people. but we did break it down by these 3 groups so that we can have a way of having the way that we enhance your character, or the way that you talk and deal with corporations, how they interact with you. So, natural, military training, or magic, art. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Spacebug. Exactly. So that's just a brief overview of Origins. There'll be a lot more details on it later. Let's go with natural.
Speaking of Earth, that was the I was working on Earth manipulation last night, getting all the visual effects hooked up. What are you over there doing? Frank?
I'm going through different,
Yep.
different archetypes now, the archetypes. So, in the past, we've talked about how archetypes and your primary and your secondary are all going to work together. Basically, in some other games, you typically pick what your goal is. So you would pick, oh, you want to be a tank, oh, a blaster, oh, do you want to be whatever. Those types of things, we're going to be looking at it from the reverse aspect, because we're going to have a lot more combinations of your primary and your secondary to come up with many more different options of archetypes that allow you to more specifically focus on some things. So maybe you want to be a melee character that more focuses on single target CC. Well, that's a different archetype than a brawler, which would be a melee character that doesn't really have a whole lot of CC, but focuses a little bit more on AoE. So there's a lot more archetypes in the game, and the reason why we're looking at it from the reverse is because we want you to pick primary and your secondary, and then that'll choose your archetype. We don't want you to pick an archetype that limits you already. We want you to craft your primary and your secondary. Really control. Oh. Alright, read the chat again. So we'll just do a pretty simple one, brawler, and we'll do melee damage with melee defense. This is our primary, and this is our secondary. And then we will next page. So these are the options that we have. So in our primary, which was melee damage, street brawling, super strength, martial arts, fire melee, medic weaponry, katana, fencer, broadsword, ice melee, pistol fury. These are just a few of the ones that we have right now.
Got animations for Bestial Fury now too.
Nope.
Slice.
Say broadsword.
One of the things I'm excited about is eventually getting the audio selection feature added. Because so like every time I see Bestial Fury, I think it should have some type of, for each attack, we should have some kind of wild, like animal type sound. But if someone doesn't want that, they need to have the option to change it, take it out.
Alright, so what would you say? Aaron? Broadsword
And tough skin. I was working on some design code planning for tough skin. Had some interesting ideas I want to play around with eventually. Even like having certain hits to your body will actually like display some type of kind of like body reaction, like some kind of inverse kinematic type flinching to your body, and show some type of visual effect pass over the area, almost like show like a ripple in your skin, like your skin basically kind of just offset the damage or something like that. I'm always thinking of cool stuff like that, crazy abilities. Radiation shielding. I don't think we completely finished that one as far as the visual effects and stuff.
On the bug. Oh no, never
Huh?
mind. I didn't click. I didn't select.
Wait. Is it working for you on your end? Because
What do you mean?
interesting, you went and chose those powers. Can
Well,
you
yeah, you
choose
click
those?
the select button in the middle.
Yeah. No, I meant return to like the power panel.
Yeah. And then like you
Uh,
click the select.
Are you're able to actually click those power options?
Yeah. So,
They're not
will origins have bearing on power selection, or is it just a background detail? If it's separate, will there be a way to swap origins for retroactive added one? Yes, there will be a way for you to swap your origins because, like I said, we will be constantly adding ones, and we wouldn't want you to be one of those people that definitely were there where they'd be like, oh, wait, we know that there's a chain melee coming out, so let me hold this character for 6 months because I want the name, and we're waiting on those things to come out. So we wouldn't want you to be sitting there and be like, okay, I know that next month they're going to put in this origin, so we want you. So I don't want to make that character until the origin's ready. No, you'll be able to retroactively select those. But will origins have a bearing on power selection, or is that just background? No, that's just background detail because for origin to have a combat effect where it affects, let's say for example, there would be any dozens of ways that a role player could say, oh well, yeah, a natural person that has a broadsword should be able to do more damage than the magic dude that has a broadsword. But then some magic dude that has a broadsword says, yeah, but my broadsword is actually enchanted with magic, so it should actually do more damage than the natural guy. So there's plenty of ways that could be written out through role-playing reasons, so we're not going to limit that. And we... Oh, I see what you're talking about, though.
I see
Yeah, I can't click straight.
Ken from Chicago is asking about staff melee. We actually just got multiple, yeah, that's what I was saying. There's some bug with the melee damage that's like breaking the or with the gender, and it's breaking the completion of the card gen, but you can still do everything else. We just can't create a character until we get that resolved on the server and client side. But I see Kim from Chicago is asking about staff melee. We just got a ton of animations for different power, for the various power sets, and staff melee, and a couple different staff animations came over. So we're gonna be playing around with different weapons, and there's gonna be different types of staffs, and each one will have like a different combat look, a combat style. So you'll be able to, like say for example, you want a combat staff that's held with two hands. There'll be certain specific staffs that are held with two hands, and then we have a staff that's also a two-handed staff, but it's designed in such a way that it more facilitates power strikes with a single hand. And so if you choose that weapon, you'll notice your stance and animations change. But staff melee is done, and we just have to finish setting up the animations because it was one of the power sets that was lacking animations. But we now have the animations. So next week is a big week for in-game content development and design and completion. So we're going to be adding staff melee. There's one that I'm kind of trying to consider how I want to handle it, because there's the... What are you laughing at?
Somebody's like Spock melee or Spock clean.
But now that we have a bunch of different animations, because like we basically have this animation system that allows us to do multi-hand combat, dual wielding, or hand switching the handedness of your character. So if you want to have a sword in your right hand, you can have it in your right hand. If you have it in your left hand, you can have it in your left hand. So now we could, set up weapons where the player could swap instead of, if they have broadsword, instead of having a sword, they could have just like some big, like wasteland type, stop sign, and let them switch hands with it. Let them let the animations change to reflect those different stuff like that. So we got a ton of animations right now. Some boss animations, some crazy over the top animations. We have a power set called Overgrow, which the player kind of goes into kind of like this massive beast mode. We got animations for that now. We got a ton of new stuff on the way. Oh yeah, and those some of those hairs still they don't have the right appearance references. So if you go to like you can fix those right now if you want. It save me the trouble. Yeah, like some of them you won't see because like that one there's hair under there and you can't see it because the appearance reference isn't set up. But most of them, scroll through all of them, and there's quite a few in there. Quite a few there. Just grab the you just grab the handle on the left side of the panel, or you just drag the panel itself straight up. Look at this guy. Oh yeah, and this is the asymmetric body hand modification. And the thing about it is we're still there's still some rigging going on and a couple of components like sockets and stuff that needs to be applied. So there's still some areas of the body where you'll see openings, like right there where he changes some of the arms. The sockets still aren't done, and then there's the very mechanized looking arm where the rigging isn't quite solid on those, but that's being done next week. Next Friday we're gonna start getting the rigging polished on the mill. And these are just a few of the customizations for the mill. We have a ton done, but we're just waiting to get them rigged and get them polished up.
Yeah, it's
as QA, I'm normally looking at all the bugs and all the imperfections, the issues, and I have to say, as QA, I'm excited. This is so awesome. It's not that I can't wait to find all the bugs.
Yeah, you do.
Who you play?
No. This is so exciting as a player.
Yeah, it really is.
And I can't express enough that even when I report a bug and I'm hated by all the coders for saying, hey, we got this problem here. Seeing things that actually work and come together are absolutely phenomenal, and I couldn't express any better that this is awesome.
Yeah, we have the best worst QA. That's how I explain it.
Yeah.
Best worst. Did you go back to the face? I noticed the tabs are still off, and they're still hide your hair.
Just because we've
hide your hair and put the fedora on. I haven't. I'm still doing some JSON work on the thing. Put the hat on. The hat is cool. That's the coolest hat. I even tilted it. Yeah, I'm still working on.
I even tilted it.
I set up Legacy's back to work with that. So Legacy's body works with his cape because he's so skinny.
There we go.
Oh yeah, did you go back to the face, go back to the head, did you show patterns? You probably forgot. You probably didn't even remember patterns exist on this, huh?
Go back to the face.
Yeah, go to the face. And you can change the skin pattern. It's under body.
What are we talking
body under face, the tab, the body tab, top right,
Oh.
the menu tab,
Yeah.
and then go to face. Okay, yeah. Man, those are all backwards. Yeah. Now, if you click on the face, go to the face object. Yeah, you got to bring that down. No, over there to the right blade. Nope, nope. Shape. It's somehow the shape tab and the body tab got flipped.
Remember your tick hitting me.
Yeah, I know.
Can you tilt it the other way?
The shape tab. It's under the
There's a
shape tab.
All right.
And then you got to bring the right blade, all the way down to the faces at the top. And then you'll notice that P, and that's one of the things we have to have either redesigned or just enlarge it. But if you click that P, you get a drop down that'll show the actual pattern that you can choose for the face, for the skin. I'm still working to get it set up with the hands.
Yeah.
The P at the top left corner. And you'll be able to choose different skins over the same type of mesh.
Since.
Man, we're gonna have so much fun with those in the end. I have so many
yeah.
ideas. So many like separated faces, Westworld, the old school Westworld look.
But the thing that is so interesting to anyone that does not do game design, to realize to get to this point the amount of code required to get to this point, and then you're like, oh yeah, but you guys only have like 3 hats in there. Well, we literally have dozens of hats.
Yeah, we have
All
so
done.
many hats.
Those type of elements are actually like the last 10-15% of what's required to create this character generator. So that's why we're so proud of it. We are so proud to be able to show it off because all of tech is there and it's been custom created by us, working part-time when we can on the project. And it's really just such a testament to the team.
It really is. We put in a lot of work, man. That's why I said I want to start doing dev streams where we show just how complicated it is to do the simplest of things, even with all our tools and all our advanced code systems that help alleviate some of the issues. Like I had a friend of mine over watching me just setting up all of the effects, the visual effects and the status effects on powers. And she was like, wow, I would have thought you'd have been done, just with the first one by now. And I was like, nah, because you're setting up stuff on the server. You set up the abilities and you set up the power set on the server. Then you define all the elements on the server that won't change, the things that the server has to be looking for and checking for security purposes to ensure that if someone attempts to hack it or tries to feed the server something that's not proper or true, that it'll reject them, and then after you do that, then you have to set the server to understand the animations, because the server needs to broadcast animation data to all the other players to ensure that if the client, because we have it set up on the client side to do it for the local players so they can see their animations quicker than the other players, but then it has to broadcast those to the other players so they can quickly sync. And even with predatory coding, it's not catching it in time enough, so that data has to be bounced out, so you have to do the animation stuff for the server, and then you bring it all back over to the server data file, which is the validation element of the server, where the server is able to check all that again for the second time from within itself and then from its exterior source. And then you have the client. The client is trying to show a ton of data from the server, and it checks it against itself because the client itself has security mandates that it tries to maintain between all that. So you have to do the same thing on the client in various different scripts. So you're doing an adjacent animation mode script that validates that the server, someone hasn't tricked the server into sending you wrong data, and you're getting the proper data that you're supposed to get from the server. And then you do likewise to the skills document, because the client needs to be able to determine what data the server is sending to it. So if someone's trying to hack it, or the server is feeding them something that's not connecting, that the client can shut down on them. And then after you get that done, then you have to start to connect the elements in game that needs to be played. You have to set up the character animations. The character animations are referenced by the animation mode script. So you have the animation mode script. You have to manually edit that and put in data from the animation script, from the in-game animations, and have it referenced in the proper animation script. And then you set all that up with the controller, and the controller is managing all that client, the client data from that. So you have to manually put that in, check that, make sure that all the names are correct. All the names reflect the exact same names that are reflected in both the animation mode scripts on the server and the client. And then you make sure that the server knows that in its skills type document or skills type script. And then after that, you validate that you update your client side skill type script so that it's up to date and it's reflecting the same as the server. And then you got to go to the spreadsheets. So in the spreadsheet, you do you're building
and
the
all
spreadsheet.
all of this
I
before
mean,
the
all this
customer can
before you even
play.
before the skill is even, before the spreadsheet can even be applied. You have all this stuff that has to be verified, validated, and developed, and then passed to the systems director, who is putting this same data in his spreadsheets, which are built into a JSON file that further validates all the data. And
Yep.
he's making one mistake and putting a dash where there's supposed to be an underscore, and the server's barking about, oh, you had this issue here. So you're like, hey, you got something wrong going on. And it's like, what is it? Server saying animation isn't right. Oh, hold on, I'm pulling up the animation script from the client. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
Just blame it on C4. It'll all work.
I'm just like, it's so much work to do, and then that doesn't even like touch the surface of where he's building these spreadsheets, and the spreadsheets he's trying to do pseudo balance as his initial release, and
Oh yeah.
and after that it's such a long process for a single power set, because then you have QA doing a quick initial test, and QA got to report, I just did this, and a visual effect didn't go off. I didn't see any particles at all.
Aaron, I know what you're talking about, and I do
Know the
what
pain.
you're talking about, and
Dude.
it is a lot. It is a lot, but we're definitely still focused on the fact that we are more than happy and excited to do it. Just want
Oh yeah. I ain't trying
we
to sound
definitely are
ignorant.
not in any way looking at it as anything type of a negative. It's just if that's what's required to provide a good,
This is our
something good to the community, that we are all on board with doing it. That's why, sometimes quality or sometimes quantity overcomes quality, but in the vast majority of the circumstances, we go through all those steps because we know that quality is a forefront, so that we get people to see what we have, the best of what we have. That's definitely what we focus on.
That's why we're here, and that's why we enjoy doing it. As we go along.
Slider.
Oh yeah, we gotta add that too.
Hey, team, I'm going to chime in real quick. I've got to go. I'm out. I want to thank everybody that stopped by today to be able to participate into the live stream. If you've got any questions or comments about the content or the art that's going to be going into the game, feel free to drop those in the forums, and we will make sure that we address everything you guys are talking about. Yep. Thanks, guys.
I'm keeping
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate you, man.
Questions that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move to what we were going to be doing, which was talking about creating power set. and just kind of showing a process. And I think that this will be a great thing to do with the community and show from the beginning to the end. And some of the steps, I mean, we're obviously not gonna we're not going to sit here and model the special effects for it or something like that, but we'll just talk about the raw parts of it, assigning different things to a power set. And since everybody was so hyped about a bubble power set, do a bubble type power set.
Let's do it, man. Let's make it happen.
Yep.
Why did I hear crickets?
Play my
You
mouse.
in the map at night?
What? No.
Oh, I thought I heard the sound of. Yeah, I do. I hear sound like crickets.
Give the people what they want, Bubble Man.
It's bubble time. Scrubbing bubbles. Is that trademark? I need to look.
Bubble Man? That's definitely not.
No, I said yeah. Actually, Bubble Man is that's from Mega Man. So yeah,
Oh,
that's the trademark characters. Yep. Don't even, you know me. I'm on my due diligence. I'm
That's it,
always
that's right.
looking right now.
Oh,
Shoot.
we'll have to add that. Now that that's been brought up, now he's gonna be able to make Bubble Man.
Bubble Man.
Bubble Man with a.
I mean, you can do it. You just got to be ready for whatever comes from your wildness. I'm doing Bubble Man today, Capcom. Capcom's like, go ahead. Just playing. Don't do it.
Yeah, so did SpongeBob.
They're gonna be like, don't you dare. You know better. Yes, I do. And be like, it was Jackson C4's fault. They were highly encouraging, and so was the community. They pushed me to this point. I just wanted to satisfy them. Can you understand that, Capcom? I thought Bubble Man should be open to everyone. It's so generic and it just sounds like I should be able to use it. Nope.
Now we're gonna
Undo
have
it.
to come up with a bubble propelled power set or
Call
power.
Call him Large Soapy Man. That should work, right? Yeah, I
Large
mean
Soap.
it doesn't have the same ring, but yeah, we'll use that. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Call it SpongeBob Power Travel thing.
You really asking for it. Of all the companies to try to play around with, I wouldn't test them.
Yeah, I know. But I've got 6 kids, so.
Yeah, they don't care. What are you over there doing, Jax? You
Check your.
all right, check. Checking, I'm checking.
Zoning out over there. Aaron does.
I was messing with John. I was like, I put him. I was like, it's still the card gen. You didn't get all the fixes in, and I was telling him which ones are still acting a bit like, I was trying to get it ready for the dev stream so quickly. I forgot to fix those, so those two didn't make it. So it wasn't something else that broke it. But he's been putting in a lot of work trying to get that polished. We've been doing a lot of. We changed it a lot from how it originally was, but he's been on top of getting those things improved. He's been working hard.
Give animations. Or.
Oh yeah, I told you we do look. Hold on, let me send you the directory. I need to pull it up so you can see it. I gotta look because we got so many now.
Yeah. You know,
Did you type? Did you search for Bubble? Search for Bubble.
Yeah. Hold on, let me.
Go to the effects folder and do it and search for Bubble. Hold on, I'm about to pull up our characters in the thing because that's how we're gonna have to do it now. We're gonna have to replace one of the existing powers. Just keep the spreadsheet. Keep the copy of the original spreadsheet.
I gotta say, as QA, I'm pretty much the end of the line. Everybody does all their stuff, and then it gets hit, to me and my team, and I am impressed daily
You
daily
just destroy it. That's what happens. It comes to you and
no,
your
no,
TV,
no.
just destroy it.
I have to keep perspective, though, that I'm destroying stuff that has been perfected as with each step of the way. I mean, because you go from okay, this is totally broken to okay, well, everything's working, but I found this.
Like everything working except the most important part.
No, it's not
Which
even
one
that
of your
anymore.
coders tested
That
this?
that's pretty true for the way that it used to be, but now it's okay. Okay, my job. I'm not gonna be able to maintain my job because I can't find anything. So I have to keep going back to finding all the little stuff. Right
Frank, what are you
now,
doing?
right now, I'm
What
having
are
to
you
find all
doing?
the little stuff.
C4, you're not watching the stream while you're in the conference, are you?
Do
This
what?
dancing has nothing to do with bubbles. Jack,
Oh
please.
no, I found the bubble stuff, but it wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah, well, I'm
Go
trying.
go to effects. Go to effects. Uh, Effects, not characters. Effects. Down. Alphabetical order down.
Oh, it's in the arts and
Oh yeah,
effects.
arts effects.
Yeah.
And it should be you got set take that slider all the way to the left so I can
Yeah.
read into it a little because sometimes it's hard to with all the folders we have. Sources underscore sources.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm waiting on the stream to catch up with me. Um, are you in underscore? So just click the underscore sources on the
Yeah. There.
and go to ang. Come on, back up. Arcanor. That's where you'll find them. Arcanor. AR.
Yeah. Remember. Like 15
Yep.
second delay.
Yep. I know. It's usually a little quicker, but for some
It's
reason
like
it's
9 to 15. I'm hosting Adam, so
okay. And then go to Magic Arsenal, I believe it is. And there should be projectiles, bubbles, and different, I think it's no, I think it's bubbles if I remember right. Sorry, I got a panel up running. As a matter of fact, I just pushed my SVN update to fix the female skin. Go to prefabs, sorry, and
yeah.
then it should be in there.
Send me that. Here. Yeah.
You can go to that demo. He has a demo in there. You can look at it if you want to go check him out and find out. Um, find the one you use. It's up top. I think it's water. I could have swore there's one that's was specifically bubbles. I don't know. Yeah, run the demo scenes. Do start with projectiles
No.
because I think that's the first one, and it automatically opens the others when it's done. And then just click play. That's weird, man. I hear like I hear like in my uh headphones, I hear like ambient night sounds. It's weird. Almost like someone's in game. Yeah, then you'll do missiles, I think is what he has it set up as. It look like you got some air at the bottom.
Yeah.
Uh
Where's
click,
that?
just
This one.
click inside the thing. I know what it is. Just click to fire. Just click in the room
Oh,
somewhere.
that's right.
Yeah, he had a build setting set up to be able to browse through those and then click. Just no, you actually click in on the environment, like you're trying to fire at the environment, and you use the arrow keys to go through the different effects. One of them in there, if I remember right, is a bubble effect. If I remember,
Where's those effects? Give me that.
oh the one
I had like the
Andrew did.
really big ones.
Yeah, that's in there too. It's under crypto. Crypto did those. I messaged them about doing the time manipulation ones I had.
Oh yeah.
He was like he was like I'm in the middle of doing some other contract work, but he was like, I'll see what I can do. I was like, if anyone can do these visual effects, I was like, it's gonna be you. And I was like, man, you do this, I'll script the hell out of this stuff, man.
Yeah, for coming up with some time manipulation power sets.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, there
I,
will be.
I just want to see like I was showing them some of the ideas I
Oh, there's the
had.
what? There's the bubbles. All
where,
right,
where, where,
water projectiles.
that what it is? Ended up being. I could have swore that was one that was just bubbles. Like,
Well, this is part of it. I know that that other set we have a ton of
yeah, and we could change. Remove. Yeah.
effects. Everybody's like, there it is.
I mean, that actually works. But
Yeah.
that was supposed to be for aqua projection, water projection.
Oh, you want some bubble pets?
Oh yeah.
Don't say pets to AV.
Oh yeah.
Don't say pets in here.
Ironside has those sweet pits, man. Oh,
And
I got an arsenal.
we
I
have
got an arsenal.
so many pets.
Yeah, so many pet class, so many pets. We just got the art for the tactical soldiers for soldier commanding and the droids for
we need
cyber special forces.
need to get a like a thing where we throw this projectile at somebody and then they get encased and hold them. It's gonna be a controller set,
yeah, we could do
control
that. We
type
got
set.
that.
Do we have a bubble effect?
Yeah, where is it? I'm trying to remember
Do we
which
have a
one.
number of power sets that we have planned? Currently I have a rough layout for about 180 power sets. Currently we
Got 90. We got
have
90
90 in,
in game. Yeah.
and that's just a rough layout of power sets that
Yeah,
I
that's pretty.
haven't even
That it
got
really
anything
is.
crazy yet.
Yeah. Nice. I like it. We making some moves over here. I like it. I'm trying to remember where I was. I know it was one of the ones Andrew did too.
Yeah, and then power sets are also one of the other cool things that we were
It was
talking
like, and
about.
then there was like a big bubble, and like the bubble just leaks water the whole time you're like it's on display too. Where is it?
Yeah, sorry, we only got 180 power sets right now.
I said only 180 on deck.
And that's only we only have 180 power sets planned right now, as in, that's a limitation of our time, not any type of a limitation in tech,
Yeah.
material, or visual effects, or sound effects. Those are purely limitations on you don't have the time to put more in than that, because I mean I could literally do power sets all day forever, and that's something that I'm so looking forward to, being able
Yeah.
to give the community a tool to see what type of power sets that you guys can come up with. And then if the community really loves it and it makes it up there, we get it in the game, and we get a power set made by the public.
Yeah. Because the drone commander, which is it's it's not under or drone operator. That's what
Drone
it is.
operator.
Yeah, drone operator was designed by Stephanie Wallace, who's a community member. She posted it on the original forums, and we've kept it going. I love it. I think it's probably one of the coolest power sets in the command in the pet control hybrid power sets right now.
And we could probably let's say, not to put any pies in the sky, but we could probably churn out a power set fully customized monthly, based on, if not better than that, based on public feedback, different types of ideas. I mean, it's say, Aaron, if we're talking real full time job of a team,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's kind
at
of like
that rate, I mean, the amount of options that are going to be in the game,
yeah. And then
like I said, even
by the time we're properly financed, I mean, we'll like I think that's one of the really huge benefits that we've seen from people looking to do major investments and variances. They know we have the head up. Like they know that they won't have to cover so much more development, like the normal MMOs too. So we'll be going into proper financing with in comfort. Like we'll have a reasonable amount of investment and a pretty solid game, and we won't have to struggle with the okay, we have to develop an entire game, here's our budget. So we'll be able to do so much once we're properly financed. It's gonna be great.
so game with glasses. Your question is, so power sets will be more or less skins. No, 180 that we have planned are not including
Yeah.
multiples that range between different archetypes, and they're not including any type of alternate skins or
Yeah.
combat styles. So, like Aaron was talking about earlier, you could have a staff type power set. Well, is it two-handed staff? Is it one-handed? Or same thing for swords. Are you doing heavy one-handed swings, or is it a heavy two-handed sword? Those types of
and
things
the, and the
are
funny
not
thing
even
is,
being included in the number of
yeah,
multiplications of power
yeah,
sets.
and that's the funny thing is that like I was telling Jax originally, with a lot of the power sets he did to kind of make them skins with different visual effects and different properties and stuff. And because that was my initial way to get a power set available, and then we could come in later and just do the refinement, but do it in a way that it happened before serious development took place, so that people who were invested in it, they got, they didn't see major nerfs or anything like that happening at the start of the actual game. But he was like, no, I'd rather just do it all now. He was like, I'd rather just make a whole new power set with all new animations and give people exactly what they should have now. And I was like, but it's impossible with all the ideas we didn't came up with to do it like that. He was like, nope, that's what we're doing. That's what we need to do. That's what needs to be done. And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm not gonna fight you on it. I just I thought we could save some time by doing a little corner cutting, and give people what they want without over.
Spears.
Man, I'm gonna be using that metal power for. That's why I was asking you. I was like, you need to make an alloy skin tank power, and when they go into like an alloy mode or something, I can use that shader effect to like pretty much cover their body in that and let players kind of manipulate what type of colors it transforms to and stuff like that. Yeah, those are the ones we're using for the auras. So I
Where's
think
those other
John
ones
will have those in sometime next week because
last
we
week?
have to do. I think he's gonna try to get weapons his weapon customization system in either tonight or maybe tomorrow. I think, and then we can do because I really want to do a live stream. Once he has that done, I want to do a live stream to show off how far we've got with that because
Where's those effects that had the really big ones like big
it's the one
AOE
go to the effects pack 4 um and then do run the demo on that.
effects pack for PC demo? Unity 5.5. Game with classes. Yes and no. Answer to that question, and that'll be
I don't
automatically
he's
verified
asking
answers.
someone's asking what does the staff do bludgeoning damage. It does what does it do? It does
It would do
trump
crushing damage, but
crushing, that's what it is.
um, it would definitely be very different than broadsword with two slashing. Yes, like I said, yes and no. Honestly, I have to believe that someone out there deprived themselves of sleep for months at a time to get this far. Yes.
Yeah. I'll say I did.
Yeah, Aaron did. Aaron hasn't slept since yesterday. I'm pretty sure.
No, the day before actually. I was I was exhausted too. I cracked that Red Bull. I'm back. That's all I need when I'm feeling the fade coming. I pop back. Man, this map, I'm really loving this map, man. You gotta run around. You gotta log into the private server. You gotta run around before the end of the day, man. This map, it came together so quickly and so nicely once we organize and decide what we're keeping, what we're moving, what we're changing. I mean, we're still making a lot of changes, but man, I love it, man. If my daughter comes in, because I had all the stuff hidden while I was working when she was last in the office, and she was like, "Dad, your city, what happened?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "All that stuff wasn't there when I last looked." And I was like, "Yeah, we're a little overboard on our working copy scene." I was like, we need to start actually combining and properly baking these meshes. And right now we just over like the physics limit to the point where Frank and I have to hide the majority of our scenes while we're developing to get a reasonable frame rate. And I was like, but yeah, I was like, we look, it's getting there. I was like, and imagine this. I was like, this is a very minor portion we're doing in just our spare time. Just as I mean, we're using all our spare time too. We're using it all, but we're making some progress. In the words of Jackson's
Progress.
progress,
My favorite word.
progress. Even when you're making entire power sets instead of just skinning old ones and changing some values, you are making your progress. Looks like it somehow got set back to DirectX 9. changing those colors. That's another thing we need. We got quite a few properties to work on. That's one you need to start
Over the
looking at, because
ricochet.
I really want to chain, or I want to do some chain lightning. I think you have it as a power in the electricity projection power set, but I don't think we've added the property on the pro. Well, I know we haven't added the property on the programming side yet. I think at the next live stream, I want to do I want to build some bosses. I want to build a boss. I started working on one. I want to build one. Start adding some cool AI properties to it. I'm gonna build one for you, game. I'm gonna build us a. I want to build a. I want to finish Blue Joel, especially now that we have a voice actor for him. I think it'll be good to have that. Yeah, it looks like you got it. You have it on there. I just haven't got around to setting up the properties for it. I want Ironsight to have that with his sniper rifle, chain ricochet bullet shot up to let's say 10 enemies from one shot. What do you say? You're like I don't want to make fire sets for you. I'll make them for myself. You're not gonna limit me. See, you were talking about me getting distracted. Look at you.
I'm not distracted.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not. I just was ignoring it.
You gonna make you add those pets. You know what's gonna happen if I do it. You're gonna learn one day. You are gonna learn. Yeah, the next one I want to just do a massive. I want to do a massive game dev stream doing just a bunch of power sets and bosses, power sets, bosses, and pet control power testing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, man,
There's
Andrew,
just
man,
so much to show you
that's
guys.
that's the one I was telling Andrew. I was like, I want to give Blue Joel that one as his.
Uh, might
We're
lose
gonna
our
have to make a special property for it, like.
might lose our PC rating over that effect.
I need you to do more crazy ones like that, man. If he can pull off this time manipulation power the way I envision it, oh man, people
Wasn't
are
there
gonna
another
lose.
pack?
Well, he did the custom one. He did custom ones in there, but they're all scattered in the different prefabs.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've been trying to
These
do. I've been trying to take his systems and set it up in a way that it's easier for us to navigate, because all his effects are so advanced and complicated. Like, I got lost originally. I was like, "You sure you have time to program like program for us, so I don't have to try to decipher all your advanced effects programming?" And he was like, "I'm booked
so
with
let
contract."
me ask this question then, Aaron. I kind of know the answer, but I'd like to ask it to you. This video that we just watched, what percentage of visual effects do you think this is of what we have?
Uh, I said about 25% maybe what he's done for us already. And these are more of his boss type effect works. You're not gonna see people doing that. I mean, that's like new level top, you know, type attacks or boss type stuff.
Yeah,
I, if I could, man,
but
boy, if
just
we if
trying to
we
give
had
you
the proper
guys
I try to, I just imagine, man, if we had the proper financing to finance someone like him full time, oh my gosh, man. Oh man. The ideas, just the stuff you've said, the ideas you've had, the ideas I've had, ideas Chad has had, man. I mean,
Yes, you'll be able to use these Fireblade.
yep.
These are all the things. The point that I was just making is that all these things that we've just watched here, this is just one thing where there's a demo version where we can easily show you them. But this is about 25%, if that, of the visual effects that we actually have in the game that we're going to be using for creating power sets.
Man, that guy does some of the most incredible stuff I've seen done in Unity ever. It's rather shocking how, I would think, you know
This is the power that I'm
as
gonna
great work
be.
as he does, I would expect it to be other people to have, a handle on it at least similarly. But he's the first one, the first one I quickly contracted. I was like, I need that. I need more of these. It's like the ones he did for our fire projection and the darkness manipulation. I was like, man, if only I could afford to hire this guy full time out, man, I would put this guy to work. We have so many crazy ideas. Just like for
These things are so perfect for us because we're making a superhero, supervillain game. There's
yeah,
literally sky's the limit. So
yeah.
these type of things are just they don't. There's a lot of games where because of the lore you have to restrain
Just
yourself. We don't have to
because of
do
the
that.
genre too, like the genre of what type of game you're making. Well, I think we have the benefit of having developed this game in an era where this type of graphic capability is there, man. If City of Heroes would have been built in a time like this, man, I wonder what type of content, kind of gameplay experience we would have seen. Like, I think that's one of the things, the great benefits we have is that, like, by the time Valiance launches, like, i7s are going to be like standard in computers, and like 16 gigabytes of RAM is going to be like medium level PCs with like high end computers having 32 gigabytes of RAM and stuff like that. So we're going to be just like, that's why I keep saying, as I keep developing around our i5, i3 range. And we're still having support for like the Core 2 Duos, the high end Core 2 Duos. But we're gonna have, our audience is gonna be, by that time those kind of computers are gonna be standard, and these graphics that right now we're like, oh my gosh, they're still gonna be nice and all, but we're gonna also have so many crazy over the top effects and stuff that we'll be capable of providing for the community and stuff. It's gonna be great.
So let's round out the night with showing a some of the assets that we have for creating a small dungeon. The that we were talking about earlier.
The industrial stuff, or
But yeah, the industrial stuff for creating a.
I'm gonna finish that dungeon. I'm gonna
Yeah.
finish it. Well, we're gonna have that in the next live stream.
Okay. Well,
That's
we'll
gonna.
save that for
So
the next live
that's kind
stream.
of, that'll be the nice next live stream projection. We'll have the
And
dungeon finished. We'll have the dungeon finished. I know you were frustrated because the artist, the way the modularity was set up, but don't worry,
and
I'll
then
get it.
guys, to round out the night with Mr. Clean Bubble Master, as you said. Um, just we've been kind of all over the place on this stream, so we're gonna push that to the next stream, which will not be too far away.
Yeah, because
That'll
we'd have
definitely
to
be
fix.
something. I'm gonna get the assets together so that we'll be able to.
Yeah.
I'll be able to show
Plus,
you. Here's all of the assets that we have. I'll be able to
yeah,
show the stream. Here's all the assets that we have, and I want you guys to start coming up with ideas with them. So that's gonna be the thing that we do on the next stream, as long as well as showing in-game running around combat and then showing off of our dungeon tech. So thank you all very much for joining us tonight.
Close out,
yeah.
close out with a run through. Log in on the private server. Did you not get a PHP or PHP 3 set up?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you suck.
Yeah, I know. It's
I'm sorry. I should have had you. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, do this.
no, we
Well, because I'm gonna go ahead and boot up the live server because I really want people to see um, the map from actual gameplay perspective. Do this. Go to your file build settings, and then change it from startup live to startup local to startup live.
Oh, do we have the live?
Yeah, I'm starting it up right now. All right, it's up. Once you set up your build setting to start up live, then just run startup and then just run straight through.
Uncheck local.
Yeah, uncheck local. Sorry.
Exit out of that. Remember.
Yeah, once you just close it and then just run startup.
Oh, whoa. Hold on 1 second, guys. This Aaron found right. Get it progress.
Nah, I ain't that good. Nah, that's you. You the progress guy.
Thanks, Spacebug.
Who's that? I can't stop. I'm stuck. Man, we're doing good though. I'm really happy, man. We're right there. That these character generated change. I've been so busy trying to get the map ready, get the content tested and set up and ready. Got my team working over here, man. Um, once we get that, man, I'm gonna go full on, man. I wanna get all those customizations in. The female be ready Monday.
Oh man, I mean,
We'll
it
get
just
her set up, man.
it's hard to
Man,
believe where we could be with only bits of time of full pay.
yeah, I
Where we
know,
would
man.
be. It's test, right?
Yep, test.
Is it capital? What was
Uh,
it?
should be lowercase all, because I don't like stopping hit shift. I'm just one-handed when I do it.
Nope.
Try capital T on both.
Oh, caps lock's on.
Oh yeah, that might have
You know
something to do
what?
with it.
Some systems designer probably should have something there that reminds you that caps lock is on.
That that's weird. Try testing.
I'm in.
Okay.
Time to answer security questions on the test account. Let's see. Let's just pick one that we
Super
already
strength.
got.
That's it. Yes, use super strength. That's your boy. That's your best
That's
bud.
my boy. Super strength was my as the systems designer for Valiance Online. I'm gonna throw this hint out there that super strength was my favorite power set.
Oh man. Oh. Now they're gonna be like, I'm picking super strength because I know yours is so slanted. I feel like yours is so slanted.
Everything will be within a 10% of the power curve. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. I will believe it when I see it. I'm about to try to log in. I'm about to see if it go in there and pop that PvP bomb.
I'm gonna give a brief minute talk about what was involved in Gorgon.
Hmm?
Do you?
You mean Legends of Ethereal? Or both?
No. The actual what it takes to make the foundation of an MMO.
Oh, Gorgon server, you mean?
Yeah.
Man, just so much.
I mean, just give a brief synapse of your investment into that.
I don't really have one. It's not. You can't make a
You
brief
can't? Oh,
synopsis.
come
But
on.
like,
You can.
it's just a lot of programming for a lot of years. Um, Basically, I developed MMO tech for about 4.5, almost 5 years,
I was
and
asking about the flying cars. There you go.
and around the same time, one of my friends was um, launching his MMO on Kickstarter, which is Project Gargon, and I was like, you're doing the same type of thing I'm doing. We're both programmers. I have artists. You don't. My artist could probably help you if you help me with my gaming tech, and we can just merge assets, help each other, and that's what we ended up doing. We ended up merging and building stronger network systems, sharing our code.
But over how
Uh,
many years has it taken
he was
professional
working on
programmers to work on?
his tech for about 4 years as well. So I mean, altogether, once it was all combined and merged up, it was like 8 years worth of, or nine, not 8, 9 years worth of MMO tech. All tested, battle hardened, used in both our games, Legends of Ethereal and Project Gargon. When City of Heroes went down, um, my little brother, uh, he, you know, it was a game that we connected on. He and I, and he passed away, and it was like a big deal for me. And I wanted to, like, I was driven, man. I needed to get a place for the community to reside. Like, people invested a lot. It meant a lot, and the game meant a lot to me. It just from um, that standpoint, just had a sentimental value, something that couldn't be easily discarded, you know. And so I know look the rigid bodies. I need to set the timer a little higher on the uppercut. Now I see why John set it up so that you could do unique rigid body kills, um, rigid body timeouts for each attack. It just comes in handy in that case. But yeah, it had a real sentimental personal value to me. And I was just talking to somebody in the interview about it the other day. I reached out to the team behind City of Titans first. I made all efforts I could to try to connect with other people in developing products at the same time. Because, like I said, I just wanted to bring the game back. I just wanted the community to have a home. Like, that was a big deal to me, especially regarding my little brother and his passing and how much it meant to me and him, the game. And no one had real interest in using my tech or using Unity, pretty much. I was actually on the brink of messaging the team behind Heroes and Villains before that whole thing took place with us basically being called scammers and stuff, and so that ended abruptly. And I was just like, well, no one seems to want my no one seems to want to use my resources, so I was like, I'm not gonna let the community be homeless because I know this. I know one thing about myself is I won't sell out. I won't give our home away and let somebody take it. That's why all the offers we've been made on Valiance, I just kind of shouldered them because no one would let me have control. No one would let our company maintain control, and I was just like, nah, we'll work it out. We'll find somebody reasonable enough to allow us to maintain some kind of semblance of control over something we built, you know. And we took our technology and started working.
Yep.
You know,
This is
this is
we all
powerful.
have a story with
Yeah, yeah.
City Heroes, and
It's
there's a reason why we put this much time
yep,
to it, and it's not because we're trying to be rich, not because
yep,
we're trying. I mean, there's we all have professions, and that don't revolve around this. This is our baby,
yep.
and
Yeah, that's how I look at it, man. This is our baby, man. We sell our baby and just let someone just destroy it. Like, I remember
that
watching the
definitely does
closing of the
happen.
COH. I seen the closing of the COH final closing. Watched it with the Dales at their live stream, and boy, that hit me in the gut so hard, man. I mean, I broke down, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I mean, man. Just thinking of what my brother would have felt if he was still here and stuff. Boy, it hit hard, man. And people don't recognize because I had a lot of friends like, man, is it that serious? And I was like, that's the thing. You can't put a value on everything. People try to put a value on everything. They'll be like, it's just a video game. There's so much. The community is beyond any game. Like, there's a real people. Like, and that's what that like you were talking about people role playing and stuff. Like, I had a friend. That's all he did. He didn't play any missions, and he started the game. Him and his guild. They built characters and they ran and enjoyed themselves. They enjoyed their social life in City of Heroes. Um, it wasn't about going up and beating up people and leveling up. They did their own thing. They had their own world in there. They lived their own life. They had their own world in there, and they connected there. They had a life there. Like they would spend days in there just back to back, no rest, and that was their world. They enjoyed that world. You can't put a price on that. You can't say, "Oh, it's just a video game. Get over it." Um, and I think that's what a lot of people don't recognize when we're building this game out of love. We're building this game because it's great. We want to give people a place to come and enjoy themselves, a place that they could call home again, a place that they'll know. And I've said it many times, and that's one of the reasons why the very first investor that wanted to invest in Valiance, I was quick to turn them down. I was like, one thing I've always promised our community is if this game closes, even if we can't provide them with the source code, that they'll have the built servers, they'll have the built server client that provides them with the technology to run their own server, like, and that won't be compromised on. They're gonna have a copy of the built server to use, um, if the game closes. They won't be shut out of their home like that. Like, even if they can't manipulate it or add anything to it, or take anything from it, they'll know at the very least, if I can afford a server, if I can afford to run the database, if I can afford to run this server, this physics server, I can always play this client with my friend, like, with my family, with people close to me. They won't have to worry about, oh, someone, you know, they're gonna take it from me and I'm never gonna have it again. Like, literally, if they want it, they could take it. I'll never have it again. I'll never worry about that. And that investment company was like, no, we don't empower. We don't believe in empowering people to take control from us. And I was like, well, unfortunately, I have no interest in any type of investment there. It's just not part of the direction that I'm taking the product and the company. That's just not interested.
Nope. Just that's it. We are driven, but we need your help. We need the public
Yeah,
because time and the effort. There's not enough of us that do that are at this, and we definitely appreciate all the help that you guys have provided. We
definitely.
need all the help that we can get because we are so dedicated to making this. This is a can't fail type situation. Just because, so
Hold on, Frank. I'm about to try something. Hold on.
what are you about to try?
Hold on. Uh-oh.
We just I was just talking to Aaron the other day. I was like, Aaron, because originally we had an issue with our compass. And
Oh,
I was like, does the compass even work? Because the missions tell you to go west, and the compass doesn't work. QA was like, no, the compass doesn't work. I tell you to go west. Aaron's like, yeah, I just threw some random numbers in there.
I slapped whatever
We got that
random.
fixed though, and now we just need to fix which where the sun rises. I think still and
Oh,
sets.
yeah. I'll fix that too. Hold on, I'm about to jump in real quick. I want to see something. I want to see what happens if I do this.
What, you
I want
jumping
to
on
see
the server?
I want to see if something breaks.
Are you're about to PvP turn PvP on?
You know good and well I ain't gonna do that.
Issue is. What? Wait, you gonna log in on test?
Uh-uh. I'm trying to see if this old test account works. It looks like it is.
What about
We're about
laser?
to
What about laser sharks?
laser sharks.
Sharks.
Do it.
Underwater mission. Laser
There it is.
sharks.
There's that city. We need to have some I forgot what those lights are called that are around the building that are usually around buildings that kind of light the
Downlights.
buildings up.
Yeah.
That, and because you can't see none like I know once we have all the retexturing done and stuff and have all the
And
fancy
if
lights.
everybody's like, "Wow, you were knocking those mobs back really far," it's because the character I'm on is level 41, and these mobs are like level 20. So
And you have super
they
strength too.
our game tech does recognize a difference in level, and
Hold on, go back. Click on Marcus Clark. Oh, I think I'm in.
what about him?
I think because I'm about to check for myself. It looks like his description is showing appropriately. I wrote up a bug about the descriptions underneath characters missing, and now I'm thinking it's you and me who messed up something on those test characters, on those test dummies.
Uh,
Yeah, we did. We didn't. Yeah, we did. We didn't add descriptions. I need to remove that. Good thing I saw that. John would have probably been like, "I don't see anything. What are you reporting?"
oh man, there's nothing better than walking up to a low-level monster and knockout blowing him. There's
Yep,
just nothing better. It's the way that it is. End of the conversation. There's
I'm, I'm
there's
in. I'm about
nothing
to
better than doing this.
make my way to you. Uh, I guess I might
That
as
dude
well.
got wrecked so hard he flew through the
Oh man,
ground.
help!
You in?
But help. Yeah, I spawned all kind of wicked, man.
Oh, you spawned in the old world.
Yeah. There we go. I'm back. I'm back, and I'm the physics server, and my computer's running crappy because I guess I should build one of those. So, can you see me?
Yeah, I
I
can see
got
you.
it.
Yep.
I made this character with the worst
Did
of
you
the
fix?
worst.
Oh my goodness.
What, man? People like doing that. You said you don't want to limit people's role playing.
Yeah,
I
we'll,
thought
we'll
you said
we'll
you didn't
change it.
want to.
We'll change it so that two players can like interact, and you can like become Siamese twins, where you fight by standing on somebody else's shoulders, and it like locks you onto their shoulders.
Try to add me
Oh
to your.
man, role playing water polo. Oh my
Oh my god.
goodness, goodness
Add
gracious.
me to your. Try to friend me. Oh my gosh, why did that old level up sound play? Invite the group and trade me something. Send me something. Send me something. Put something in there.
Send you
Give me something.
something. See, you want to see something?
Send me something that's send me some PvP juice. Also, are you sending anything? Cause I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, you see something?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh
Ah, you,
man,
what? Come,
come friends, and I invited you to the group.
but you didn't trade with me.
What are you talking about? Oh, you didn't hit accept.
Yeah, man. Come on, man.
Accept.
Okay.
Bam. Trade
My
success.
man. My man.
You don't have you guys don't have any idea of how much good that takes to do a successful trade like that.
What?
Transfer items between inventories.
Somehow your animator broke too. Spawn advancement trainer. Is that what it's called? Oh no.
Have you guys got different dying animations? Yes. Uh,
No, you just ragdoll death. You just
oh well,
ragdoll die.
we have the animations, not currently
Spawn.
different types of deaths.
Spawn NPC advancement.
Will be travel powers. Yeah, there was a lot of I did make a note earlier that there was a lot of questions on travel powers, so I can briefly touch on those. Travel powers are not going to be limited, as you might expect if you played other superhero style MMOs, because the ability to combine travel powers doesn't really exist, for the brief exceptions of certain things like super speed, super jump. The way that the math is going to work, that there'll be a few travel powers that can stack, but really it's going to run in a hierarchy of anything that teleports you is going to overwhelm everything else. Anything that flying, obviously super speed and super jump don't have any effect on you. If you're jumping in the air, super speed is not going to have. No, I don't. Cheers for Windows 10. Thank you. And any type of super jump would not be affected by super speed, and super speed would obviously not be affected by super jump. So having multiple travel powers, if you wanna have multiple travel powers, and then you have a 24-sided dice, and that's how you choose your travel power that day, go for it. Yeah, in 2189, Windows 10 is still going strong, trying to force updates on me.
What is that? Who is?
In 2189, Windows 10 is still trying to force updates on me.
I want to check that. Windows 10, if you don't stop trying to push updates on people, and look at
I
this
know. Stop trying to push updates on me and make Skype work.
guy. Big Skype. Stop trying to force stuff
Oh,
on
we
me.
just
I
lost.
didn't. Oh man, I love that ragdoll knockback from like when you're the one doing it, you don't see how epic of force that superpower blast is, man.
Yeah, we
And
really
when you
enjoy
see
our super strength.
when you see it from the another perspective, boy, that super string, you know that super string, man. The way you flatten somebody and they just go sliding across that cement. Don't go near that statue. Where are you? Stay away. Where are you?
What do you mean?
Stay away.
What's wrong
Are
with the
you up
statue?
there? Okay. Well, good. That means you didn't notice what I did.
What did
Okay.
you do?
You didn't
I
notice
noticed that
it.
there's a box around this thing, but I didn't look into it. What did you do?
Don't worry about it.
What did you do?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You remember the bushes. Always remember and always
Oh,
know.
the stealth bushes.
Just remember. Just know that there's always something lurking there. There's always something empowering someone to give them. Oh man. Look, you'll notice it sooner or later. Sooner or later you'll be there. You'll be
Did
like,
you
what
really
just happened?
add the stealth thing around bushes?
Like, I'll go as far as saying Ironsight has special properties, and those boxes make them possible. You don't see them.
What's the
You don't
command
see
for
them.
flight?
Uh,
Think me, or
/ and then it's effect space add admin flight, all one word, admin flight. Speaking of that, I want flight. No, I'm gonna do super speed, super jump maybe.
oh, wait.
I saw him run up to you. They was like, "Hey, you know what I really need
Yep.
to do? What I really need to do soon is get give them the what is it? The AI property to recognize your level. So,
Storm.
so when,
We'll be showing more off as we get. We're not that far away from releasing a build to the investors, and we're working in that direction. So there'll definitely be a lot more things to show off. Just we're in a state of transition with the new character models and animations. But yeah, we're definitely working in that direction. Like we've been showing you, you guys that are here understand that we have so many more things that are under the hood, and actually those things are only the last 10-15% of the process of getting them to you. But all the foundation, just astounding amount of work. Let's see. Was there any other questions? I took some notes. Okay, somebody asked, will you be penalized XP if players do not deal damage? Do not deal all the damage. Example: if you push foes off the building, no damage will not scale according to XP, or according to HP or damage. XP will not scale according to damage.
Oh, you're gonna need to. You about to be punished for what you did. You about to see too. And I ain't gonna help you either. You
What
were
did I
making
do?
jokes about it. You were making jokes about it the other day. As soon as you fly, you'll figure it out. You'll see. You thought it was funny, laughing about how you didn't care. Unfortunately, I
Storm,
don't have that.
Storm. People have Stormcrow. People have stepped up and offered um, money to back us. Just like we were talking about earlier, they would not allow us to make the game that we want to make, so we turned down. There were different limitations that were set that all the people that were dedicated to the program not being able to stay involved or just not being allowed enough control over the content. Creative control, exactly. No,
So I guess
if you're smart enough to push somebody over an edge, the game will recognize that you're the one that performed that action or your team performed that action, and that's actually something that Aaron was talking about last night.
Yeah.
He's like, I just can picture I want to knock somebody off of this edge down into that pit and them die, and that's exactly what. Of course,
you're not gonna get away with that.
nope,
Gonna
no.
pay.
All right, well I think this is a good closing out time.
I want to run around a little.
You want to
Just
run
run
around?
around. While we got
Hold on,
day, I'm
hold
gonna
on.
follow you. I'm gonna follow you. Let me land. I'm landing. Okay, go ahead. There you go. Fly, man. Take off,
Hold
man.
on,
I'm right behind you.
I just found a glitch. I
Just
just
fly.
found a glitch.
What happened? What's
I
happening?
just found a bug. Live
Yeah.
spectate bug.
No,
If you
what
press
happened? What's happened?
if you press okay, wow.
Oh,
Yeah, I almost killed myself there. But if you're running and you jump and you start moving in a direction and then you press enter at the same time, you just keep moving. So I could do
whatever you
that.
did. What? Enter.
Yeah, if you press enter and then just press oh, I'm gonna die as soon as I let go of this.
Watching too. I'm looking straight up. You about to
I
fall
don't
to
want
your
to let
death.
go. We're
You
about
about
to
to fall
find
to
out
your
how
death
high we
anyway.
can go.
Oh no, you're not, because I set that character you're using up to have like create like millions of power. I was about to say, because if you didn't, I was about to say you never fix flight's power usage.
I'm
It
not
uses
flying
like
right now
it-
though. This
huh?
wasn't fly. Somebody was like
What
that
did you
flight is was
what
horrible.
did you use? Because enter
Okay,
isn't doing enter.
press space and number pad enter at the same time, and then don't touch anything else. Just hold space in.
I'm doing it and it's not doing anything on mine at all. I'm holding both.
But we're about to find out how high we can
I
get.
still see your I still see your
Do you still see my character?
oh yeah, I didn't put the roof on. I didn't put the ceiling limit on.
At about 500 meters, I'm gonna fall.
I want to.
Everybody's now like, "Can you die from a fall?" Yeah, that hasn't been implemented. 500-meter falling. Yeah, we're also we haven't got the terminal velocity thing done yet either. So
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we need to get that added soon too.
oh
Oh,
wait, can
you'd
I
hit
fall in the
that ground.
water? Wait, no, we don't have those effects in yet, do we?
Are you falling? Are you
Yeah,
falling?
I'm
How are you
falling.
falling?
What do you mean?
Oh no!
I died.
Nuh-uh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you're all jacked up, man. You're all jacked up.
No, in the game I have
So hold space. Hold on, I'm about to try. I'm about to
just
try.
any effect, and then you hit enter, and your character will just keep doing that effect.
Whoa, yeah. So you gotta jump first.
Well, any effect, like if you're pressing W and you hit enter, it'll keep running. Then, yeah,
Oh yeah.
you won't die from
That's a.
falling in the final game.
I didn't lose any health. That is definitely some odd glitch. that will need
this
to
is
be
how
fixed.
I'm
What is
exploring.
now? I'm wondering what is the enter key set to right now because it shouldn't be set to anything. So it's something's double interacting, I guess, because
And our world is so huge.
it really is.
this is like 3 times. If anybody wasn't here earlier, this is like 3 times the size of Atlas Park.
Go over and
And
check. Go over
this
and
is 1/4 of the map, or 1/4 of this zone.
go over here and check out our buddies over at Namesake Media. They're the little building we built for them. They were really good to us.
What's the animation or what's the flight? again?
Uh, you ran out of flight already?
No, no,
I
no,
really
no.
have
I'm glitching and flying right. I want to turn flight on so I don't die.
uh, so you weren't flying before? You didn't have
No,
flight enabled?
no, that was
Oh,
just me using the glitch.
it's a
The bug.
effect add effect / effect add admin flight. Those the people over at Namesake they were really good to us, man. They like when a lot of people wouldn't give us any press, they backed us. We made their company into an entity in Valiance.
Didn't add
No,
effect. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna die now. Let's fall again.
I don't even see. I don't have my group window either.
If I can. Yeah, bug. Oh, uh, finding bugs is a fun part of the game too.
The best part. Yeah, they were real good to us, man. They always showed
Yeah,
us
namesake media.
support, gave them some pretty powerful entities in the game world. Some pretty interesting lore around them too. Their uh their director. Pretty cool stuff. The Mandrake.
Wow.
Love that guy. Where are you? I have you
I
selected
see
in
you.
the group.
See you. I'm running towards you.
I don't know why I don't have my group window. It's maybe disabled. Maybe it's
That one vehicle was flying really close to that building.
yeah. There's a few of them are dangerously close.
Oh,
Dangerously.
somebody's asking about sitting in a chair, Amy.
Oh, what happened to the chair we had?
Yeah, we had
Let
a
me. See.
chair. Actually,
I think
somebody
I
was
can.
asking about that.
Can we spawn it? Spawn chair 5. Someone's no item. I think it's item chair 5. No, I deleted it. I think I deleted it yesterday when I was doing that sweep and adding the new
We
ones.
were
But yeah,
we were working
yeah,
on it.
we have interaction. We have new interaction tech. We had a we were kind of doing this. I was working on a little spoof of to kind of just joke on based on this thing City of Titans did, where they had a chair that was on fire called the hot seat. And I was working on ours, and you could actually sit in when you interact with it. You could sit on it, and basically it would over time it would just start killing you, and you just die. And part of a body particle aura would take over, and you'd just be burned crispy. And it was just something I was gonna do to be silly, and kind of play on that little hot seat thing. And I didn't get it finished before we started
Yeah, I
the
want to. I mean, as far
like
as
I was saying,
social,
you just won't stop with that. I was like, it's so cool. I love that idea that they did that. I like that. It's just funny. It's just a cool little thing they added to their live stream.
it's funny because as far as social interactions go, like just social emotes in games, sometimes they're too clunky or they don't feel right, and you just never use them anyway. So a lot of games are like, yeah, we'll tack a few of them on, but I mean,
Oh, follow's working.
we're not not interested in just tacking something like that on. We're definitely all on about making it work.
Turn and look at my character and see if he's looking at you. If he's running.
He's running.
If you see the animation, do
Yeah.
you see the
Yeah. Yeah.
animation for it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, the
your
physics
animate.
is all
Yeah,
running.
somehow your animator broke on me. I think it's because I'm running the physics server. Oh, Trey, what do you got? Oh, see, I wasn't in your group.
So what those guys that are still left here, besides um
You still got 32 viewers. Pretty cool.
yeah, oh yeah, no, we're still doing good. What type of social interactions do you guys find that you wish you could do in most games that you have the ability to do? Like I want to add the ability to invite people out to dinner and do a lot of things like that.
Oh yeah, that would be great too. Have a list of what people want. We should open up a forum thread on there because that's one of the things I'm gonna do once we do this this new investor release. I want to be able to sit down with the investors in the new investment building and continue our old meetings where we meet, but now they could actually sit down at the tables. It's so crazy because it's some of the little things when it comes to MMO development that you just naturally don't think of.
What
Like
unlock mini games?
when we were first doing that, playing around with the chair concept, we had a guy sit in the chair and someone clicked on the chair and sat in it with them. It's like, okay, that chair has to become a persistent entity. It has to be tracked by the server, and it has to be limited to. It has to track a state, both the player state and the state of the object itself, to ensure that the player can't two players can't occupy the object. So it wasn't as a simple thing. Hey, I'm following and I'm running against stuff trying to follow you. Okay, so I guess it's not as advanced as I thought it was gonna work. That's pretty cool though. It's actually working. I didn't think it would work. I mean, look at how huge this area is in
Yo,
concept,
this,
and it just didn't
this
from
is the
overhead. It
concept
didn't.
area
Oh
of
wow,
city center.
stop. Yeah,
This is the concept area of city center.
Skyline Center. I always gotta remember to check. Every time you stop, I stop. It's not supposed to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna fly.
I love Star Wars: The Old Republic. What's your guys' favorite MMO or favorite game period right now? Do a poll.
Yeah, see, I wasn't in a group with you. There
I
it
sent
is.
you an invite though.
You are now in a hunting group. I need to update that. Not hunting anybody. Not hunting anybody. It's a superhero MMO. Well, I don't know. I'm leaving. I'm gonna have it where, depending on your alignment, it says that. So you see that, you're like, oh no, I went too far bad.
Yeah, if you're an
I'm hunting.
honorless, if you're an honorless villain,
Villain. God, you're in a group that's being hunted. Like, what? It never said that before. You think I'm playing? I really want to try. I'm gonna test that during the sometime during the middle of the alpha where we have like a police department and people are passing by police and the police are kind of signaling like, hey, it's this guy is follow this guy. Like, hey, why the police following you, man? Huh?
what happened to the World of Warcraft community? Somebody's talking about it in chat. This is the exact reason of why I made mention of earlier that we're focused on not splitting players up according to what people consider casual and hardcore, and realizing that it's a group of players and both players affect each other. Both people that commit 4 hours to a game and people that commit 40 hours to a game a week all affect each other. So, so really affected WoW's community in mop. Yeah, Final Fantasy's community is definitely running over to the coastline.
Man, that's. I mean, this is such
Oh,
um
this is
a beautiful element Chad done. I was really hoping I could get the streets in before we did the live stream. A lots
well,
are
this
gonna
is
the
this is
lots.
wonderful because you guys will be able to see the progress.
Uh,
Going swimming.
oh no! Get back up! Get back up! Get back up! Speaking of that, I need to add the underwater effect back too. It's just so much stuff always being changed up.
There's a lot of work. Our games are in Star Wars: Old Republic. Yeah, Elder
I like
Scrolls
that. I
Online.
like that hover, man. I like that hover. It's so cool for flying with a friend that's just running. To me, that's like
Somebody said the word Star Wars Galaxies in chat, and I love you.
oh, what did I tell you? All my
Star
friends
Wars
who play,
Galaxies. Oh man, don't
my friends who
talk
played
to
are
me
like,
about
oh,
Star Wars Galaxies. Look at this coastline. It's beautiful.
look at that. This is called the jagged coast. This is what happens when a systems designer takes a shot at art with a tool that he just learned.
Beautiful. You
No,
can't even
no,
look. You
no.
can't even tell any problems from down here, though. It looks just like a normal coast.
It
I was
really
saying,
does.
it looks like
Now,
it's a
now fly up
prototype.
so
My
they can see
favorite
what
word
you
is
really did.
prototype. I am flying up.
And look at the beautiful view though from just spinning around and looking at the city.
Yep. And that skyline is beautiful.
It really is, man. I'm telling you, it came together over the last few weeks. Just looks really really beautiful. I really love what Chad did with this the design for it is. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm back. I mean, look how much. Look at the room. It's just beautiful, man. So beautiful. It's gonna be a big week next week. I'm gonna enjoy getting these new UI updates in there, getting the new player window and enhancement window.
Knights of the Old Republic. Good times you guys beat Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Fine.
I mean, this is a nice chunk of city, man. I'm really just noticing how much I'm just noticing just how much work has been put into getting this thing nice and creative.
Something that a lot of people didn't do in City of Heroes, or that I couldn't find a lot of players to play with, is gladiator matches. Ever play those,
Nice.
man? Yeah.
I did a few.
I had one
It,
character that I went and got all the gladiators on. That was an interesting concept idea that they didn't really run with. It's really cool. Like that's when somebody says like mini games, that's what I think of.
I'm excited to get PvP going.
Oh yeah, PvP's gonna be fun. I made a pretty long post on the forum about PvP, and there's just a lot of detail to it that doesn't really translate very well over text. But PvP is going to be world based. It's going to be open world. There are going to be areas that you're locked into PvP because that's the areas, and there's going to be areas that
Yeah, the PvP battlegrounds.
yeah,
That'd be good.
there's going to be
Now,
world objectives that make an area randomly PvP area.
I'm thinking that'll be a good thing to I think it'd be good to get one of our current zones like that to get the PvP zone area once we get Skyline. Um, are you guys going toward Edison Way? Is that what you decided on the content
Um,
and the system side, right? What is it?
we're
I
working
know because I know it's Harbor View is going to be
we're working
the
towards
other one.
Harbor View. It's going to be a lot.
So yeah, so Harbor View and
You guys want slot machines? Somebody was like, in the casinos in City Heroes, you couldn't play any games. You guys want slot
yeah. Oh
machines?
yeah, we're gonna add a ton of that kind of stuff.
I
It's
mean,
just we
we're
want our world
literally,
to feel so open and living. That's like the biggest thing about our living world element is that it's just we just want you to be. If you want to just go to a restaurant and sit down and eat, you'll have all the emotes. It'll be like playing The Sims almost, but in
and
a
we have the
living world
ability
of
to
our
say that
superheroes.
because we already have
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
have
those
that tech
things.
in there. Like I was sitting there using what was it? It had a TV. I set up a TV I was testing for our QA manager. Like when he very first started supporting Valiants, that guy lived in game, always providing beautiful beautifully written details on the game and bugs and everything. And when he joined the project, I
The-
promised him, I was like, man, I'm gonna give you live here. I was like, you live here. You're gonna be the first to test player housing. You're gonna be the first one with a player house, and it's gonna be the best thing I can afford to get you in. Whatever assets I can afford to pay for out of my pocket, I'm paying for them. Make sure you have a nice apartment with a great overlook of the city, and I'm gonna give you as many interactable objects. You're gonna be the first one testing all the interactable objects. I mean, naturally at that time he wasn't the QA director, so it was like it would have been more special to be the first one to test something that when it wasn't your job to test. But I was like, I'm gonna make sure I do that
so
special thing for
somebody
you. And
asked, can we talk about bases? Yes.
yeah, sure.
Pretty much. Something that Aaron was just saying. There are going to be physical locations of homes that players will be able to purchase, and they'll go up for auction, so you don't have to buy them. Monthly in competition to
I
others
don't
if you
mean
want.
I don't mean to cut you off, but did you notice how long it took to get across that
Yeah,
area?
man, that's why it's great.
Okay. I'm just making sure you know, because sometimes I don't think you notice.
You don't think
On
I notice? I notice. That's why it was great. Does anybody? So here's a question. You guys have been watching me play, and I've been running at normal speed, no sprint, no nothing. This is just average. I got nothing, and I'm on my feet. You think that this world is too big?
Do you think this small portion of this
Yeah, this
district,
this
this
one
is a
thirty
small portion
second.
of a district? That's what this is. This is a very small portion of the district of Skyline. That's it. It's a very small portion of it. I like it, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I thought this is too big to tackle first. Like, I mean, full on. But I'm actually glad you kind of pushed to do it. It gives us a lot of room. It gives people a lot of room to use their travel powers, and it gives us a lot of room to kind of capture the atmosphere of.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
of course everybody yeah, there's big open spots like this that is going to be populated, and just you can see over here where we started what it looks like when yes things get a lot smaller when you use travel powers and waypoints, definitely. But this is just you know you get an idea of the scale. But I mean, as you can see over
I mean,
here,
even
this
even
area.
with even with flight at max as it is right now, like flying across this little area, it still takes a reasonable amount of time. I think it's going to be really cool to see what people think of using their travel powers once they get them. I love it, man. It looks amazing to me. I mean, we still got a lot of room to cover and a lot of polish to have, but I'm really happy with how it came out. I really am. I,
I really
I
like the
was as shocked
shadows.
as my daughter was when she was like, "Oh my gosh, Dad!"
But yeah,
I was like,
somebody made a mention earlier that it was
"Need to get the night."
that it would be nice if it was more dense. But I mean, as you can see over here, this is everything that we just ran through is laid out in about the same spacing as this area over here, and you can see that things fill up. You start getting down at that level. Right now, some of the area we just ran through is pure prototype level design.
Yeah,
Over in that direction, it's a little bit closer to getting ready for the third level of design. But that area that we just ran through, that was 100% prototype over there. And we don't mind and we don't have a problem with showing you guys exactly what the prototype looks like, because we can
all
also
right.
turn around over here and show you exactly what
Looks like
probably
when
80% polished area is done.
like that building is gonna be polished up really nicely. It's being textured now. The interior is the inside is being hollowed out so the interior can be made, and everything else is gonna be seamless travel. You travel right into an interior. In the future, we'll use various phasing techniques so that if you're passing through You'll be able to phase right from the live server into an instanced interior if we need to do that. The technology is going to be very um, it's going to be very proximity based. If you need if it determines that you need to transition out of the world because there's too many players in there and you going in that inside that interior requires you to offset the servers resources by sending you into an instance, it will, and it'll of course be dynamic and smart, a dynamic smart system. So if you're group with your friends, it'll make sure that it balances everything out and ensures that you and your friends are always together. Anyone in your group's all together. Anyone on your friends list is together. But we're gonna everything you're gonna see everything from a as real time a perspective as we can add without trying to disconnect you from the world. You go inside an interior, it'll dynamically load everything that you need during that experience. Anything on the outside of that building that you don't need to see, or including, some players, you may see a few players flying around outside the interior, but you may not need to see everyone, but you'll need to see enough that, you're still within the living world. You're still within the persistent environment, and you'll have that atmosphere once you look out of windows. You may see a person doing, crawling on the outside of the building, crawling up the glass, and you'll know, I'm still there with them. We're still in the world together. So you'll see everything. Like, one thing we always say on the team is you'll see progress. You'll like nothing can stop the progress except us. So we might show you a building that looks half done now, but we can assure you within days or weeks we'll show you a finished building.
Look at that skyline.
Skyline is beautiful, man. It really is. I love
Somebody
it.
asked how many of these buildings you'll be able to go inside. I'd probably
Every
say
one
that
of I'd say every one. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna
in
it
some
like
way,
it
shape, or
won't be
form,
that way.
yes.
Yeah, it won't be that way at start, and it'll take a long time. Of course, priority buildings will be accessible first, but every single building you see is going to be an interactive element that you can interact with and go inside.
And
So,
we're not talking about an instance environment. We're talking about the
yep,
ability to actually be able to see from outside in. Like, for
yep,
example, I was talking about there would be guilds that you get that guilds will fight over buildings because some buildings you'll actually make your guild hall and everything inside of it, and players will be jealous of you for owning the tallest skyscraper in the town or something like that. It's
yep.
all about, it's literally a living world. You players will be able to fly past your guild skyscrapers that you
Yep.
guys bought, or that your alliance got together and all bought, and you guys are all sharing it, and they'll be able to look through the glass and see the layout that you guys have made inside of your own building.
You'll see people crawling on your windows just because wall crawling.
Yeah.
Like, could you, if you don't mind, this is a private property, please. If you don't mind, because our QA director was joking the other day because I made some tech that allows a door to be open with a passcode, but the doors collider technology requires a door to be closed afterwards. Um, and you, like, basically once he comes in, he has to immediately turn and close the door if he doesn't want anyone to enter, because we haven't added any tech yet to have some type of volumetric collider to prevent someone from entering an area that they don't have permission from the person to enter. And he was like, just add the PvP collider that you have to my house, but only the owner can PvP, can do damage. And I was like, I don't get it. And he was like, so I can kick them out of my apartment with force. And I was like, oh, I was like, I don't think they will like that. People don't really like PvP like that. You don't want to. He was like, well, they shouldn't have came in my apartment. So I was like, yeah, and the cool thing is I was like, it's gonna be a great live stream to show us go from hanging out in his apartment watching TV and then we hop right out of the window of his balcony and dive back into the city and go to war. Go to start street sweeping. Straight from that atmosphere of relaxed, chilling, interior quiet, and back to the streets. Want everything that world to feel good. We want the
Somebody
world to
asked,
have that
does anyone
natural
know the
feel.
former COH player that was trying to buy the IP of COH? If we can get her on this, she might be able to help.
Yeah, I don't know. We at one point I actually had my attorney reach out to NCSoft in an attempt to find out information about the purchase, and he was very clear that there was no interest there, and that was kind of when we dropped it with the attempt to try to, because it was my intentions to eventually try to use it in such a way that would allow us to, we weren't going to abandon Valiance's lore, but we were going to hopefully find a way to bridge the worlds together in such a way that people's lore could continue. But he made it very apparent that they were not interested in parting ways with the
So,
license.
so I ran over here because earlier somebody asked, or we had a picture of. It was like, hey, where did that go? You guys want to see? You
I'm about to.
guys want to
I
see
need
where
to.
that went? Ready? It was this picture. Just popped up on the screen real quick. Oh, the sun's going down. It was in
Sun's
daylight.
going down. Man, you got to get up, jump on this little metal arch, man. You can see the sunlight. The sunset is crazy, man. You're gonna miss it. Hurry up. You probably ran out of flight, didn't you?
I didn't. I haven't even turned it on yet. I'm
Oh,
trying to
that's right. Why are you? You
jump
nowhere
down
near
into the tunnel.
Oh,
That remember that picture that I had that was just covering up the screen for a minute. Some like a couple people were like, "Where does
oh
that tunnel
yeah, yeah.
go?" I'm over there where you took the picture.
I mean, it's like the world's so nice right now. I'm very happy with the look, the overall look. And keep saying that, but I really am. Need to work on the effect of flight to give it some blur or
I
something while
can't
you're
wait till I
flying.
populate all of this world with mobs.
I know, man. It's gonna be what perps, Roanoke's, Starborn is further out around the edges.
Yeah, they're further south.
I think probably get the eighth mob up closer to the Harbor View area. And that sunset, man, it's
Where is the
killing.
sunset at?
It's behind the buildings. You missed it, man.
Oh,
I mean, the game is running remarkably well for some reason.
oh yeah. I mean it's funny because what level would you say of optimization we're at right now?
Zero. This is like 0%. Because right before the live stream, I baked down, or I didn't bake down. I overrode the live game scene with yours, just raw, just with no optimization. Because I know tonight we're gonna do proper bakes and builds of it,
Yeah.
and then start bringing those back into the working copy scene. And I was like, man, I'm not even gonna bake because it would have took 30, 40 minutes just to bake a couple roads. And I was just like, we're gonna go with it as it is. And it's nice, man. I really
Man,
like
look
it,
at
man.
this city.
I'm telling you, man. Remember I told you I was like Friday or Saturday we're gonna have it done, done enough to be considered like done. You were like, I don't know, man. I was like, nah, we're gonna do it. I was like, by we, I mean you, but it's gonna get done. You were like, I mean, I think we could get. I was like, ain't gonna be no thinking. Saturday we doing that live stream and it's gonna be done good enough that it's not gonna look holy and empty. We're gonna make it We're gonna get this baby
We
rolling.
need to get some of these pictures of the city at night up on Facebook.
Yeah, I also need to get the retextures done on the buildings that done
Red.
the glass. Yeah. You know what? You want to get rid of that red. You're not getting rid of that red.
There's a little bit too much.
You're the reason it's there now. I wasn't even planning on using those buildings
Wait,
because I didn't want
was this
to.
globe here during the day, or does this globe just come on at
Yeah,
night?
it was there during the day. It uses it uses an additive shader, which isn't working the way I was expecting. So I'm gonna go in there and work on some type of special blend shader. Something with Unity, the way Unity's handling chromatic aberration, it, it, it was struggling with the blend, and I just didn't like how it looked. But it looks like I'm just gonna have to find a workaround.
All right. Well, now I think that we are officially coming.
Yeah, yeah.
For real.
And I was
this
saying
time. The last three times have been practice. See, the thing is that you guys have to learn about Aaron is that he comes on and he throws the best at you right when you think that you're about done. Every time I knew that I had to entice him.
You were trying to escape. Trying to escape doing what you needed to do is what you were trying to do.
Yeah, Spacebug, you're allowed to put. You're allowed to put. There's no limit on any of this information right now. Yeah. You wanted to put something up on Twitter from a screenshot? Go for it. You're gonna be putting a ton of stuff.
Man, look at that! Look at that moon, man! Oh man!
Oh,
to all our people who like perching on buildings with the moon and I think John was working on adding the weather triggers to the server too. Man, I mean, just imagine that, man. You perched up on the building, you know, you one of those Dark Knight characters perched on the building with the moon behind you in the rain, looking over the city, man. The epicness is coming, man.
Yeah,
it's coming.
We're going a little bit further. See, a lot of people definitely didn't like changes in seasons, rains, atmospheres.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just some days might be cloudy and some days might not. We're definitely fully embracing the fact that we're not holding anything back and not pretending this isn't a real world. You know, that's okay. Yeah, our days are a little bit shorter than the real world, but we're on the effects. We got that sky. We got them clouds. We're gonna have them rain.
Back, man. I was trying to take a picture for Facebook.
Oh, you were typing. Photo.
Get back in the freaking shot, man. Where'd you go? Stay still, man. I mean, I got a nice shot here too, man. I'm talking about.
Oh, you were putting both of us in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were doing the first person.
Oh man, I like it, man. I told you, man. I told you by Saturday we'd have it where we wanted it to be, man. I told you this. You gonna learn to have faith in me, just like I'm gonna learn to have faith in your systems. I was like, I told you this is how it's gonna be. What are you saying? I was like, oh, I thought you said something else. All right, I got the shot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and villains, thank you for joining us tonight. We were so happy that you guys were able to join us. We really appreciate it. With a lot of positive feedback, a lot of things that make us feel great. We're just ecstatic of the fact that we can lay it all out there and show you guys the progress that we're making as we're making it. We're not. We have all the proof that we are doing a real game. We have all the proof that we have all the tools and the assets, and we love to show those things to you guys. We really, really do, because they are awesome. I mean, whenever we were going through the effects that we have, and like I said, those were only about 25% of the effects that we actually have in the game ready to use. Everybody was just, the chat was exploding. So those things, we love it. We love it so much, and they just power us on because we enjoy working on Valiant. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night. Aaron, you got anything else to say?
Nope, that's it, man. You said it best, man. We're trying to show you guys that we really want to show everyone how dedicated we are, and we really want those who have invested money in our project to see that, you know, we're working really hard. I know a lot of times things get quiet and it seems like, what are they doing, But we're working hard. We really are. We're putting a lot of work in over here, and we know it's if it isn't showing now, I mean, with the release of the upcoming alpha, we believe everyone's gonna see just how much work, dedication, and focus has went into trying to get the most polished, playable, performant experience we can to everyone who supported us and backed us, and we're not gonna stop until it's everything that it needs to be. We've changed a lot. We've had a lot. We made a lot of decisions. I know quite a few people said, well, Alpha was supposed to launch over a year ago or nearly a year ago, and we were there, and we just like, well, with June, we were gonna launch the Alpha in June, and we're just like, it's just not ready. There's too many features that we feel need to be here. Just like with systems, Jax had, I was planning on pushing what we had that I felt was, good. I thought it was very, very positive, a positive product. And, Jax was like, there's too many combat elements that I want. I want to get crafting more polished. I want more interaction. There's so many more system features that I feel the game needs to have before we share it, before we let it out there again, before people get it, play it and can actually get what we really want them to have. And I had to agree with them, and we're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait until everything that needs to be in is in, and we're gonna make sure that the product that the public gets is the proper product and not just the one that we feel we need to release to appeal to our audience, our supporters. We know our supporters will appreciate it more that we took the time to give them the best we could give at the time we release. And we appreciate everyone who's invested, everyone who supported us, all the great comments, all the great posts on the forums. And we promise, like, going forward from last week, we promised that we're going to be making lots of strides, lots of information will be coming. We'll be covering more details on the game, on the alpha, and I assure everyone that we're just going to continue going forward to deliver great media, content, information, and to let everyone know the alpha is really around the corner, like literally around the corner. We have quite a few systems that we need to polish. We have a lot of art to get in, but it's literally right around the corner. And we'll be sharing more information next week. We're hoping that next week we can provide an actual solid date. And I just want everyone to know it's very close, like very close,
All right.
like danger close.
Thank
But
you,
we
everybody.
appreciate you. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you in the next stream.